What a performance!
The only constant in life is change. Change neither asks for permission nor waits for readiness. Change of direction, change of pace, a change of heart. Change can mean opportunity. It can mean growth. But in an ever-evolving world, sometimes you just need a place to call home. An anchor, a constant, with everything and everyone you love. A place that keeps the spirit aflame when everything else is changing.
Well, the quadruple winning Robins aren't quite on the ropes this early in the season, but their title defence hasn't exactly exploded into life either. Shortly, this side that lit up last year's Betfred Super League will have home advantage as they look to kickstart their 2026 charge. Well, coming for them are St Helens. Can the Red V silence what will be a raucous home support and head home with 2 more competition points? And importantly, a real belief that they are title contenders. Well, as we spend round 6 celebrating 30 years of Super League, tonight on Sky Sports, Willie Peters and the reigning champions Hull KR come back to Craven Park for the first time in the new campaign. The visitors are Paul Rowley's Saints, down on troops but with their tails up after 5 consecutive league and cup victories in the new season's opening months. And they'll be pretty happy with their current league position, sitting in 3rd, tucked in behind the unbeaten Warriors and Wolves. It's looking good for St Helens. Hull KR, to everyone's surprise, with just a solitary win all the way down in 12th. Well, round 6 kicked off last night at the One Bore Stadium, and after their side were crushed by Warrington in round 5, Castleford fans demanded a response. Tigers coach Ryan Carr promised one, and well, his players duly delivered against Bradford, winning out 40 points to 28 in the end, with a first ever career hat-trick for flying winger Jason Gary. Relief and joy in equal measure on the final whistle for coach Ryan Carr, his staff, players and supporters. Well, of course, round 6 we will build up throughout the round to Sunday's broadcast at Headingley between Leeds and Warrington. We're on air at 4:30 p.m. as we look back on 30 marvellous years of Super League history and look forward to what should be a cracking game between the Rhinos and the unbeaten Warrington Wolves. That one on Sky Sports Action. The rest of the games this weekend, as ever, on Sky Sports Plus for you. Hello and welcome to Sewell Group Craven Park. We're here to see, really, if the champions can kickstart this season that has spluttered at the start, despite the fact that they have been, in that time, crowned World Club champions after their win in the west side of this city against the Brisbane Broncos. The temperatures have dropped here, but we expect the action and the atmosphere to be red hot. I'm joined pitchside by John Wilkin and Sam Tompkins. 30th birthday celebration. Sam, I think almost everybody now on the Sky Sports team has had their chance to pick their all-time Super League 13. The supporters' all-time 13 will be revealed on Sunday's broadcast on Sky Sports. How difficult a task was it for you?
Yeah, really difficult. We got given a list of 5 players in each position, and having to leave out some genuine legends of the last 30 years was really difficult. But this is the team that I did come up with. Like I said, not easy. People like Andy Farrell not quite making it for me. There's multiple players that I could have put in, but this is what I came up with.
Yourself, which is an interesting one.
Did you pick yourself? Whoa, this is a stitch-up. Well done, lads.
What a big player.
Well done, lads. I didn't have myself. I did not have myself in that team.
Yes, he did.
This is a stitch-up. No,
Jamie Jones Buchanan,
rubbish.
7 titles and didn't pick himself.
Sam.
Oh, well, that's what I was actually thinking. I was just trying to be humble, and I didn't pick Chris Radlinski, but all right, I'm in. I wasn't meant to be. Well done, lads. Leslie Vinacolo and Ryan Hall on the wings. 2 monsters, try-scorers, centres, silky centres in Gleeson and Jamie Lyon. Half-backs, Sean Long was a stew-in for me, just because I remember coming through as a half-back, playing against Sean Long, and everything he did was gold. Everything, the way he organised the team, he could come up with real special players all the time. Sean Long for me is the best. Danny Maguire, you know, backing up everywhere. It was painful to play against him, because if anyone made a break, he scored a try. The back rowers, Gaz Ellis walked straight in. We've got Liam Farrell, Mr. Consistency. The props was really difficult.
Yeah.
Leaving out a James Graham, leaving out a Jamie Peacock, but you know, Stu Field and Adrian Morley, 2 blokes I've been in battle with, and when you need a tough carry, those guys are there. And Lockers, number 13, difficult. He beat there Andy, but yeah, Lockers for me.
Did you really put yourself in? Or is this a stitch-up?
This is a stitch-up. I went with Chris Radlinski, that's the honest truth. But well done, Brian.
But you would have put yourself first.
It was close between me and Rads, I'd say. It was close. I went with Rads.
Give enough rope.
Nice stitch-up.
So, birthday celebrations, of course, for Super League. And tonight, of course, on Sky Sports, we feature 2 sides that have come an awful long way in the last 30 years. At the LNER Community Stadium in York, for us tonight, ahead of this one, is Stuart Pike.
Of course, neither Wakefield or York were anywhere near Super League. Wakefield finished 6th out of 11 in the old League One, Division 1 as it was back there. And York, well, they were known as the York Wasps, finished 6th in Division 2. And that year, the Division 2 champions were Hull KR. How times have changed. But as far as things go tonight, York still without their captain, Liam Harris, and they've lost half-back Danny Richardson to an injury. So veteran Paul McShane, who himself has recovered from a hand injury, switched into the halves, a job, of course, that he's done many times in his career. Wakefield have talented centre Corey Hall back in business. He's missed the last 2. Darryl Powell's men looking for a 4th straight win here tonight. Matthew Staunton restored to the starting lineup, and young starlet Harvey Smith earns a spot on the bench. But of course, the big news, massive news coming out of Wakefield today is the signing of NRL superstar Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. What a signing, 2-year deal, surely one of the biggest signings in the history of the Super League competition.
Do not adjust your screens. Yes, of course, it bubbled away this news earlier in the week. RTS coming to Super League, coming to Wakefield Trinity. To tell us more, Jenna.
Yeah, and I think it's fair to say what Pikey said, they're arguably one of the biggest ever signings for Super League. Wakefield Trinity have their marquee player from next year for 2 years. And we were lucky enough to speak to him exclusively as part of a special edition of the Bench podcast. And I asked Roger Tuivasa-Sheck whether, or why, I suppose, he decided to come over and play not just in Super League, but in particular, why Wakefield Trinity.
At this stage of my career, I thought, you know what, this is a good time to go. My family's at a good place, and let's go and finish on a high by seeing the world, play for a new club, and see what could happen. And Wakefield Trinity, because I like an underdog story, and these guys are not part of the top 4, and but they're heading in the right direction. They're trending well since the new owner Matt took over, and I've been enjoying watching them from afar. So I'm pumped to be joining the Super League and Trin.
Yeah, what a superstar he is. Of course, Dally M winner back in 2018. I know what he's going to do on the pitch, but I think as well what he will bring off it will be remarkable. That special edition of The Bench is available to download right now wherever you get your podcast from. But let's get back here to Craven Park. What a match we have in store for you. Hull KR, well, they haven't got off to the best start of the year, have they? For the second week in a row, the Robins are without Reece Martin due to a foot injury, and there is no Atua Morg, so Jack Broadbent continues to play at the back for what will be his 100th Super League appearance. Former Man of Steel Mikey Lewis partners Tyrone May in the halves. The formidable Jez Litton is at 9, with Tom Amone, who was on the bench last week, starting in the front row. Captain Elliot Minchella locks the scrum. Jack Brown and Noah Booth both return after 5-game absences. They are on the bench with Sam Luckley and Jai Whitbread. As for their opponents, St Helens, well, gosh, they have a long list of injuries, don't they? So ever-present, Harry Robertson plays his 3rd straight game at fullback, with Dion Cross continuing at centre in Johnny Lomax's absence. Tristan Saylor is again in the halves for his 40th straight Saints appearance. He partners Jackson Hastings, who has impressed in these early stages of 2026. One of the big signings of the off-season, David Clammer, is back in the front row after playing and scoring his first Super League try last week. Joe Shorrocks is back after missing the last 2. He starts at loose forward. Darryl Clark is back, but is a sub with Ignatius Parsi, Noah Stevens and Jake Davies. But St Helens, well, they have last beaten Hull KR back in August 2023. In fact, they haven't won here at Craven Park since March the year before that. So, Brian, I think we are in for quite the treat tonight.
Absolutely, and I just wonder how much it will tell us if St Helens come here. Let's just quickly, and I do this for framing, not to focus on the absentees. No Captain Matty Lees, no Jack Wellesby, no Alex Walmsley, no George Whitby, Curtis Sirren, Nenny McDonald, Jacob Host, Johnny Lomax and Jake Burns. If St Helens, and they come here on the back of 5 consecutive League and Cup wins, come here and beat the champions tonight, they're contenders.
Yeah, I think they are. Obviously, I think the roster's strong. I think they've recruited really well. Jackson Hastings was probably exactly what they needed, that organising, distributing 7 who can kick the ball as well into good spots. I think there's a difference here coming to Hull KR than to maybe the last 3 fixtures that St Helens have played. Catalan, Bradford and Toulouse, with all due respect to those 3 teams who've had good parts of the year. Coming to Hull KR, coming to Craven Park is an incredibly difficult challenge, and I think that's why it's a great test. To really benchmark where Saints are at, Sam, tonight they need to produce a performance at the home of the champions.
Yeah, this is certainly the biggest test. I think there was questions asked when they lose Matty Lees and Jack Wellesby so early in the season, how do they bounce back? Well, they have. I think the way that they've played, the style, the balance in the play of this side, the way they can move the ball, go through a middle, it's been great to watch.
Elaborate on that, both of you, if we will. Rolly ball. We've seen Kurt Haggerty and what he has brought to Warrington. They both work together at Salford. What differences has Rolly made as coach of St Helens to how they play?
I think some of the criticism of St Helens has been their predictable style, maybe one out, no support. What we see now with Paul Rowley is moving the ball in yardage. It's not necessarily to make line breaks. This is the first play off the kickoff against Bradford. Look, they make a break, but it's all about chewing up meters, Sam, isn't it? And just stressing defences out. What I like about Paul Rowley as well is he knows to be direct off the back of it, but you often see him go back-to-back ball movements.
Yeah, it's play for play. So as a defensive middle, you're going from the left of the field to the right. They've got the key players getting the hands on the ball, moving from side to side. And as John says there, this isn't make line breaks to score tries. It's to stress defences and get out their own end in a different way to what we know as Saints, which was straight, route one, straight down the middle. They don't do that anymore.
Yeah, and you need, in the new rules and the new style of the game, we're going to talk about Hull KR, maybe how they've struggled with that. If you've got somebody like a Darryl Clark and you can move the ball and then run off the back of quick rucks, it gives Saints a unique threat. They can play through structure and shape, shift teams around, but if it gets quick, they've got somebody in the team who's just going to run and take advantage of it. That's why I'm excited about Saints this year.
OK, well, we'll hear from the man with his fingerprints all over that style of play, Paul Rowley, and following that, Willie Peters, who has been the name on many people's lips today. More on that shortly. Jenna.
Well, first I've got Paul Rowley with me, and what a start St Helens have had. 5 wins in a row, and that is despite all the injuries. Paul Rowley, what's been the secret?
Just hard work, to be honest. I think the lads have been buying into the new systems, the new philosophy. They're enjoying themselves. and they're pretty well connected. So we've got a good group here, and like I said before, they're working hard.
So we talk about your start. It's been a good one. You look at your opponents tonight. I think a few surprises maybe in results of certain games. What have you made of the start of Hull KR's 2026?
Well, I was there when they beat Brisbane Broncos, so I think it's a tremendous start to 2026 for Hull KR, and that's the Hull KR we'll expect tonight. So they're a great team, obviously.
So they have only got the one win, though, in Super League. Can you almost expect a desperate side out there tonight?
Of course, yeah, they want to, especially being at home. They've not been at home for such a long time. It's a formidable place to come and play. Everybody knows that, and like I said, they'll be desperate and keen to get the season up and running.
Well, it is their first home Super League game of the year. Paul Rowley, I wish you the very best of luck with St Helens.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll let you head off, and we will bring in the head coach of the treble winners, Hull KR. We were just talking about the difference, Willie, in the starts. Obviously, St Helens have had a positive start. Yours a little bit more challenging. How challenging has it been?
Yeah, it has been challenging, but you never want to use it as an excuse. But it's real in terms of travel, and we've played a couple of big games, obviously, at the start of the season against the Broncos and then over in Vegas. But look, it's there's no excuse. We are where we are, and we need to improve tonight, and we're looking forward to doing that.
There's already been a lot of talk about panic, but you are saying there's absolutely no panic in the camp at the minute. How do you get the balance right, I suppose, getting that urgency to win? Because there is an urgency to win, right?
Yeah, look, I think if you look at the scoreboard, there's an urgency. And we had to look yesterday because it's reality, and we want to be real and say this is where we are. But if you keep looking at the scoreboard or in the result, that's when panic sets in and you start to get anxious, and the boys will feel that. So we want performance, because when we get performance, we often win games, and that's not being overconfident or arrogant. It's, you know, we found last year when we did perform, we did all right. So we need to make sure tonight that we perform and put ourselves in a position, because last week Catalans were very good, but we played that last 20 minutes. Like we freed ourselves up in that last 20 minutes. So I want to see them play free tonight. Obviously we're disciplined within that, but play a little bit more free.
All right, Willie, we've got to go there. We've obviously heard the rumours, we've seen the speculation. We heard this afternoon what Peter V'landys had to say about your future. What does Willie Peters have to say?
Look, I respect and understand you asking the question, Jenna. But look, my focus is here and what we're doing tonight. But the club, you know, it's not for me to put statements out. The club will do that in time. But as I said, you know, my whole focus is hopefully getting a win tonight.
So there will be a statement in time then, Willie?
I'm not sure. We'll see what the club say.
Sorry. Good luck tonight.
Cheers. Thanks.
Okay, that, of course, is the speculation that Willie Peters will shortly be announced as the coach for the new NRL franchise, the Papua New Guinea Chiefs, the PNG Chiefs, starting in 2028, of course, in the NRL, but he would pick up that role if it was to be announced as Willie Peters next season, leaving Hull Kingston Rovers at the end of this year. I asked you this. We finished yesterday's show, John and Sam, talking about this, and asked you would it derail Hull Kingston Rovers if he had to go into the players, tell them he was leaving at the end of the season. You didn't think it would?
I don't think it would. I think the players have got too much professional integrity, and Willie Peters is an incredible coach. I'd be surprised if it has a derailing effect. It does become a bit of a challenge when you're talking about recruitment, but I'd imagine Hull KR have got 2027 boxed off in that regard. Look, there was an inevitability to Willie Peters moving on, wasn't there? It was always something they were going to have to contend with. I think he's an incredible young coach who's just going on the up and up. It's a sad time for KR because he's going to leave, isn't he? But it's an exciting opportunity for somebody who's coming in because he's left it in such a good spot.
Yeah, I don't think it derails this side at all. And I was a player in a similar situation to these Hull KR players when Michael Maguire came to Wigan. He broke the drought. You know, Wigan hadn't won a grand final for 12 years. We won it 2010. And it was actually here at Craven Park in the dressing room after a game. Michael Maguire came in early on in the year and he said, look, this is my last year. And from that point, we knew what Michael Maguire had done for the club. And we said we want to send him out with silverware. We want him to leave a winner. And we did went on and won a Challenge Cup. And I think that'll be the mentality of this Hull KR side. Willie's going to leave, but they'll want to make sure he finishes on the right terms.
OK, well, we are expecting an announcement to come as soon as Sunday from Hull Kingston Rovers. The start has not been great for them. And defending a title, defending a quadruple, well, a treble of domestic trophies, Hull Kingston Rovers now have lost 3 of their first 4. What sort of a Hull Kingston Rovers side are Saints going to face? 4 times they played last year, all 4 went to the Robins, but it was a Hull Kingston Rovers side that were conceding on average just 11 points a game. In the 4 games so far, 27 points they've conceded on average.
Yeah, and I think defensively, we spoke earlier about the new rules and the speed of the game, and I think it's disproportionately affected Hull KR, a team who commit numbers into tackles. The more numbers you have in a tackle, the slower it is. They've simply not been allowed to do that by the way the game's being refereed now. I don't think they've quite adjusted to that. I think games are getting away from them defensively, and they're conceding points near the line, maybe having an extra second to just get up and get connected. That's not there. So teams are making scrambly tackles and big defensive plays. Hull KR have just been so tight and structured. It's really affected them. Look, this is a big game here tonight for them, without a doubt.
First home Super League game as the title defence. No,
Yeah.
they need to turn up something for these fans tonight.
They do, and I just can't expect them turning a performance in like they did against Catalan last week. That's just strewn with errors and was un-Hull KR-like in many ways. I'm expecting Willie Peters and Hull KR to be very different.
Yeah, I think this KR side, they've got a point to prove. Being at home, we know what a great atmosphere these fans create here. It's the best atmosphere in Super League. Now, all these fans they've watched their team lift trophy after trophy after trophy in the last few months. They're still happy, but they do want to see a winning team on the field.
Yeah, and if you said to those Hull KR fans, you're going to lose 3 out of your first 4, but you're going to be World Club champions and you're going to beat Brisbane Broncos, you take it.
Not bothered.
You take it because it's just.
But at some point they will want season 2026 to ignite.
But tonight could be that night, couldn't it?
If this is round 12 and they've still not won many games, then we're saying, right, there's an issue.
Okay.
But I still think that Broncos result's going to go for a few more weeks.
And that's when me and Sam double down and say Willie Peters has really derailed them. He's destabilised them. That's what we do.
Just
pundits.
Press record on what they've just said. We will hold you to it, gentlemen. We move ever closer to kick-off here at Sewell Group Craven Park. The reigning Super League champions, Hull Kingston Rovers, in action against Paul Rowley's St Helens side. And of course, this weekend on Sky Sports, we celebrate 30 magnificent years of the Betfred Super League competition. 30 years in which Hull Kingston Rovers have certainly made their contribution.
What a chance tonight for something very special. Lewis puts on the accelerator and bursts! A burst of brilliance from Mikey Lewis! A new name on the grand final trophy. Hull Kingston Rovers 2025 is unquestionably the year of the Robins. Is there drama yet in this game? Tommy Makinson, they're in range. Makinson got his first career drop goal last season in the grand final. Oh, he's hit the post. The chasers are on. It's Wellesby. Wellesby might have got the try. Jack Wellesby might have got the try. He has got that, Bill.
An unforgettable Super League night, voiced of course by the late great Bill Arthur. Tonight on Sky Sports, the champions Hull KR play their first home game since lifting the grand final trophy last October. Expect a rapturous reception for the hosts and some formidable opposition as St Helens come to Sewell Group Craven Park on the back of an eye-catching League and Cup run to start the new era under coach Paul Rowley in style. Well, a reminder that tonight, not far from here, York are in action at the LNER Community Stadium against Wakefield, a game you can watch with us on Sky Sports Plus. Wakefield seeking a 3rd consecutive Super League win. The hosts, York, looking for their 3rd win on what has been such an impressive first ever season in Super League. Jack Sinfield there, son of the great Kevin Sinfield, won a couple of father and son partnerships that have been in the Super League over the last 30 years. Well, it seems now that we wait just official confirmation that this season will be the last at Hull KR for Willie Peters, the quadruple winning coach linked with the new NRL franchise in Papua New Guinea. His thoughts for now, though, firmly locked on the task at hand. Peters names an unchanged backline for the 4th consecutive week, so fullback Jack Broadbent makes his 100th Super League appearance. The centres, Arpeta and Oliver Gildard. Tyrone May was one of the few to emerge from the defeat in Perpignan with any credit. His proven partnership with Mikey Lewis yet to fully shine in 2026. New signing Tom Amon starts in the front row, having been amongst the substitutes last week. That, of course, pushes Dean Hadley into the back row, replacing young Tom Whitehead. It is a formidable pack and as close to a full-strength starting lineup as a coach could hope for in this attritional sport. 2 changes on the bench as Jack Brown and Noah Booth are brought in. John, strong enough, good enough, should win this game?
Yeah, I think one big point here is the absence of Jared Weir-Hargreaves and Mickey McLaurin. In their absence, I want to point out Elliot Minchella, the captain, and Jez Litton, the role they've got in adversity, times of adversity, to be great leaders. I fancy Hulkard to be fantastic here. So Hulkard by 6 for me.
Well, Paul Rowley's first season as Saints coach is shaping up nicely. 5 consecutive league and cup wins while battling the injury absence of some notable names. He's gone with the same backline that won away against Toulouse. Lewis Murphy has now scored try-doubles in his last 2. Can he make it a hat-trick tonight? Centre Dion Cross is another with an eye for a try, having scored for the visitors in rounds 4 and 5. While making his 40th consecutive St Helens appearance as Tristan Saylor, simply superb last week. He continues to develop his partnership with former man of steel Jackson Hastings. Makeshift hooker Jake Winfield performed admirably as the Saints coped without first choice Darrell Clark, who returns tonight. The one change to the starting 13 comes in the shape of Joe Shorrock's back after serving a 2-game suspension. Well, it's Clark, Passy, Stevens and Davies, the substitutes for the Saints on the bench. A side looking to make a statement with a win here tonight, Sam.
And what a statement it would be. You know, they've got some real stars that can't make the 17 today, but this is a confident team. There's a team, you know, people, Saylor, Hastings, Robertson. That's still a formidable 6-7-1. These are guys that have been given a licence to play wherever they want. And that's why I think today Saints are going to pip it by 6 points.
Well, you've gone for the visitors, I should say. John, you have gone for Willie Peters and the home side. Stories swirling around Hull Kingston Rovers, as is the smoke from the flares here. The atmosphere is wonderful. I love it when there's a split in the camp. John and Sam, well, let's get to our commentary team for this one. It's an atmosphere to savour tonight on Sky Sports as we say good evening to John Wells and to Mark Wilson.
Good evening, Brian. Good evening, everybody. Super League's 30th birthday weekend continues, and what better way to spend it than at the home of the Super League champions, Hull Kingston Rovers, back on home soil in the Super League for the first time in over 170 days. They've taken on the 10-time Super League winners, St Helens. The fireworks off the field. We're expecting plenty on it as well. What a night. Conditions are perfect, and this should be a great game of Super League. Can the champions bounce back, or will Saints continue their great start? John Wells, good evening to you, sir.
Yeah, good evening, Mark. Look, it's got all the ingredients, hasn't it, for a fantastic evening in rugby. Stars lit on both sides, storylines, subplots everywhere. My personal opinion, I expect a serious response from the home side. First game back on home soil, as you said, for some time. I expect this to start like house on fire.
Well, all the speculation about Willie Peters. They hold all the trophies. Well, there is plenty of respect on the name of Hull Kingston Rovers these days, but the champions are being hunted, and it's only 1 win in 4 so far in the Super League for them. A huge weekend for the Super League, the 30th birthday, and it'll be celebrated by all and sundry, but what a disastrous start. Delaney knocks on the first carry of the match.
Oh, wound up off the back fence. He just mistimed the catch, grasped at the ball, and immediately puts his side under pressure. Ball fired into him from Lewis Murphy. should have been taken. Lapse in concentration early, and a gift for the Robins.
Yeah, perfect start for the Robins. Can they put points on the board? Match number 68 already of the season on Sky as Lewis takes on the line. The retro blue and white striped shirts of St Helens with some early defending to do. Minchella drops it back, and they're getting 10 out here from the line, and a really big chance for Hull KR. They'll move the ball to that right-hand side. May with a short pass. Good defence, needed to be as well. Cross with a tackle on Hiku. Hastings involved. Back to the middle they come now. May will get it away to Litton. He finds Lewis. Bodies out the back. Here they go to Gildart. Gildart cuts back in, and he's tackled. 10 out. Saints so far so good. Couple left in the set. Lewis just pops it up. It's taken in by Amon. And this is the last one. Options left and right. Lewis to the left. Litton finds Lewis. He's going to stand up the kick, looking for Burgess. An early contest. Burgess catches and Burgess scores. What a start. Not a hand laid on him. Burgess got up high, collects the kick, and he's into the corner. Home Kingston Rovers do score on their first set.
Mikey Lewis kicks to the corner. Joe Burgess, worth watching the work he does off the ball here. He doesn't just career in. He picks his path and weaves a route directly to the ball, all stemmed from the error from the kickoff from George Delaney. But it's well worth looking at what Burgess does off the ball here. It's a real pinpoint kick, but Burgess just picks his way, navigates, gets up early and dots the ball down. Dream start for the home side. Engage this swathe of home fans. That's a really confident take. And a confident finish by the wingman. His 4th try of the season. Just that little step back inside Percival clears the path for him. And we've seen these kicks, haven't we, time and time again from Mikey Lewis. If they're good enough, if they're on the spot, you don't leave too much for your wingman to do.
So Burgess with the opening try, which has been confirmed. So Mikey Lewis will look to add the extras from out wide. A tough opening kick for him, but he's on point. Kicking out of hand. What's he like off the tee? Sends it wide of the post. So it's only 4 points to damage from that early knock-on. But a wonderful start for Willie Peters. There's going to be a lot of speculation over the next few days about his future. But Burgess, a try-scoring machine, whatever shirt he's got on.
Absolutely, yeah, and a real settler. It's a settler because regardless of what anybody tells you, it has been a turbulent start to the season. Some real highs, of course. And that defeat, particularly last week against the Catalan Dragons. And then all the stories and the reports that have come out this week. You can front face and talk to Jenna and say everything is business as usual. There is no doubt that there are plenty of other thoughts going on, so that is a brilliant tonic. Real early settler for Hull KR.
Yeah, sure there'll be a queue a mile long to take over from Willie Peters. What a great job he's done. There's plenty of business to be taken care of. Saints are 4 from 5 in the Super League, but they're up against it early on here as the Robins make their way over their own 40-metre line. Here's Lewis again, fancies a run, carries.
Good indicator that as well. 2 really early darts from Mikey Lewis. Well shut down by Saints, but just an indicator there that maybe there's a running day for Mikey on the cards.
Yeah, May's going to send it end over end. It'll bounce. How will it bounce? It bounces beautifully. It's collected at the back and brought forward by Saylor. He's picked up, dunked unceremoniously onto the turf. It's a beautiful night here at Seoul Group Craven Park. The pitch looks immaculate. The conditions perfect, it seems. Here's Hastings. Will get the ball away now. Percival with nowhere to go. 3 times they came here last year and were beaten on all 3 occasions. Saints carried forward here by Clemmer, one of the big off-season recruits for Saints. Here's Hastings from inside the 40, launches downfield. Broadbent will catch on the full.
Good defensive set by Hull KR as well. after points, got through their set, restricted meters. Broadbent starts Hull KR's set just outside the 40. This is good stuff for the Robins.
It is. All now working its way forward.
You've got an injury issue here. Harry Robertson has come out awkwardly from a tackle. I think it was against Broadbent in the defensive line, but he's labouring, just taken backwards a few strides by Hadley.
Yeah, still stood his ground though, made the tackle. He's lined up in the centres. They're trying to probe him behind the ruck there. They wanted a penalty. They don't get one. Last one says Liam Moore gets the ball away now. Here goes Minchella, finds May. May moves it out wide, looking for Hiku. Hiku will roll the kick. It's a lovely kick as well. Who's going to get on the end of it? Well, it's taken into touch. Saylor takes it over the sideline. More pressure incoming here for St Helens.
It's a great chase from Tom Davies. He really puts the pressure on Tristan Saylor. He just has to stand and take the ball. There's not an awful lot, not many options he has at that stage. Ball pops up. Yeah, had to take possession.
It's going to be a goal line drop out for St Helens, who've spent the opening 6 minutes or so well and truly inside their own half here. Hastings will propel the ball downfield. Should be caught on the full and is. Here comes the charge. Here goes Tom Amon. He's well met. 30 out from the line. May gets it away. Here's Hiku. So the Robins in good ball again, leading by 4. Litton will get it away to Minchella. Finds May. Short pass Lewis. He goes to Hadley. That number's there. Hadley leads the line and is tackled 15 out. Lewis to May. Just drops the ball off here. Kingston Rovers. They're going to come down this left edge again. Set restart. Here is Lewis. Lewis probing. Tackle just inside the 10. So Saints having to weather an awful lot of early pressure here. Litton turns it back underneath. No way through for the Robins this time. So Asosu, though, stands in the tackle. He'll play it. They've got bodies either way. Litton look to his left, but goes to his right. Broadbent with a pass. Hiku looking to get the arm free. Good second man in tackle there from Saints. Hastings stopping the offload, but Robins coming back again into the middle with May. Fires the pass to Lewis. Lewis gets it away to Gildart. Gildart's got Burgess outside and goes for the double. Is he airborne? Did he get it down? Referee's having a look at this, and he's going to award the try on the field. There was no big celebration from Burgess. This one will be getting checked in the background.
Question for me is, does he maintain possession to grounding? I thought he did an outstanding job to stay in field. He launched himself early because the direction of travel was towards the sideline. The replay will tell us everything we need to know. It's a great spread play again, just that change in tempo midfield. And the pass out the back. Gildart does really well. Early ball to Burgess, launches himself on the 5-metre line. Boy, that's close. Boy, that's close. Let's take a look at these feet. Gets airborne. No. Oh, so close. So close. There's a knee to look at, and there's the control of the ball to look at as well. You'd probably say knees down at that point.
Well, it was a great effort.
Wasn't
Credit
it?
as well, Dagnall did just enough, didn't he?
Wasn't it? So close. Just that last frame. I think the knee was down, but there's a word of warning here to that right edge for St Helens. They didn't leave much space, but they didn't need much space.
Well, they are looking at this one. Burgess didn't celebrate, did he? I would imagine if he knew he would have got that down, he would have been up, wouldn't he?
Players get a really good feel for this. Now, we're going to go to the video ref now, and I think he's going to confirm what we all think.
Camera 2 now, we can see that Burgess is in possession, going towards the ground. Ball's not down yet, still not down yet. The ball's still not down, you can see grass between it. And at the point that the ball is grounded, it's simultaneous with his knee and hand on the ground. So this will be no tries, it's a simultaneous grounding. I've made my decision.
going to be an hand
Well,
over it,
Jack Smith had one quick look at it and says that it is no try, so it remains 4 points to 0. I think everyone on the pitch was expecting that decision to come in there, John. It was a great effort, but not quite great enough.
No, look, really close to being a spectacular finish. And we know Burgess is capable of that.
He's in touch,
but
hand over.
Consider that right edge put on notice, Robertson and Dagnall. Dagnall does his best to get, in fact, I think he does enough there just to squeeze Burgess offline. But this boy can finish.
He can. 55 Robins appearances, 47 tries to date.
That's some strike rate, is that?
It is. Well, his 150th Super League try last weekend. The Saints get the ball back. In a real tough opening 8 minutes for them. There goes Clemmer. Missing a host of big names, Saints, but they've still been finding wins. 5 on the spin in all competitions. Here's Hastings, short pass. Gets it away on that far side, but nowhere to go.
Geez, there's some heavy contacts coming in here as well. The Robins, they're going looking here. They're hunting. See again, Lytton straight out the line, nearly takes Shorrocks apart.
They wanted to pass, didn't they? They want to play, but they can't at the moment. Just earn that bit of space. Short pass there. Well held on to. This is the last tackle, though, so they need a good kick at the end of the set. Not the best pass to Jackson Hastings, who was hit as he kicked it. It's caught on the full by Tom Davis, and look at that, they're going to start on halfway and just over.
Right, well, that's the reward for some really heavy defence, controlled, but some big contacts. Really did well to restrict the meters. It's a good point you make about Shorrocks wanting to play. John and the boys talked about it pitch side and said, look, this is the Saints side that is playing in the image of Paul Rowley now. Prepared to shift, want to shift. It'll have definitely been on the tip sheet this week.
Yeah, well, sometimes you've got to earn the right to play, and at the moment they're not getting the space they want. Here's Lewis with a little dummy almost through. Good tackle, Robertson.
It's a running night for Lewis.
It is. Robertson hopefully has shaken off that knock he picked up earlier on. Ball working its way across. Broadbent fires it to Hiku. Hiku, well dealt with by Cross. That was a must-make tackle from Dion Cross. Here now is Lytton, finds May. May's going to get it to Lewis again. They're coming back to this left-hand side. This is where the danger is. Ball kicked through. Is Lewis onside? He's going for the line. He's still not tackled. He's going to get to the line. Mikey Lewis reaches out to score. Second try on the night for Hull Kingston Rovers. That left edge is cutting St Helens apart.
Oh, the dancing feet of Mikey Lewis finish off what I think was a really unusual last tackle play from what we've come to expect from Hull Kingston Rovers. Even in this area of the field, they would happily put the ball up and stick it in a corner, but they go for a two-pass shift and then May connects with Lewis. I think it's a smart piece of play from Ollie Gildart just to dribble inside, and then look at this, Lewis out of 1, 2, 3, 4 potential tacklers, and look at the footwork. Boy, he's good. I told you right at the start when we saw Mikey Lewis run, he's got a run-first mentality this evening and picks up his first try of the evening on 10 minutes. It's just an offside query. I think that's fine. I think that's fine. But it's what he does after he takes possession. Just turns 3, 4 defenders inside out. He's got a great nose for the line. And that's an exceptional finish. Great footwork.
Okay, Jack. Try confirmed.
Player of the match in the grand final. And he's set off in good form tonight as well. Looking now to convert his own try. This is a significantly easier kick than his opening effort. 10 to the left of the post. This for a 10-point lead.
Time back on, shot.
Lewis strikes it through the middle, and it is the champions 10, St Helens 0.
Right, it's been a really positive start by the home side. They've done an outstanding job in stymieing Paul Rowley's St Helens. They've put themselves in great field position, and then crucially, they've been good enough to execute off the back of it. Two-pass shift, last play, that in itself is unusual. Cute kick from Gildart, and then Mikey Lewis, who steps and weaves and sachets his way through the outstretched arms of the Saints defenders. Willie Peters will be very, very happy with the opening 10-12 minutes.
Yeah, it will. Been all Hull Kingston Rovers, hasn't it, thus far? Look at that. St Helens not even seen the ball in the Robins half.
And you can trace all that back to the error off the kickoff from Delaney, can't you? Just immediately handed everything over to the Robins, and they've just gone back to back and interspersed with some really ferocious defence.
Yeah, we saw Warrington blow Saints apart in the opening 40 minutes, right back in round one. Since then, Saints have been pretty good. This is their biggest test since that Warrington loss. High kick. Saylor will come forward to collect it, catches it on the full, heads off in field into a wall of red and white in his tackle, 15 off his own line.
Yeah, another good set after points. They've gone 80 metres, not an awful lot presented for Tristan Saylor, and again the Robins going to work. They're rolling their sleeves up.
They are. Hastings gets it away, taken forward up towards the 30. Metres hard to come by for St Helens, as Robertson thought about the pass and then tried to break through the line. Leaves a marker on the ground. Ball now works its way to Hastings. Short pass, good hands. Here's Saylor, ball over the top. They're looking to go out wide to Murphy. Murphy over halfway. Is he going to stay in the field of play? Well, they were trying to drag him over the sideline there. Last one for Saints. Eventually they play the ball. Hastings is going to go for distance, but it's straight to Broadbent. He'll move the ball in field. Right, another game tonight sees York against Wakefield. Sam Wood with the opening try as the Knights up and running against Wakefield Trinity tonight. You can watch that on Sky Sports Plus. They pushed Wigan oh so close last week, didn't they, the Knights? Strong challenge went in there on Davis. Lewis to Gildart. Those two looking very potent tonight. Here now, Minchella, little drop of the shoulder. Delaney makes the tackle, but Minchella takes some more metres out of the Saints' defence. Ball now works its way back to Lewis. Will go high. Saylor comes forward. There's no immediate pressure on him. He'll catch it. And he's about to be engulfed again by Robins defenders, and that's good work. Yeah, another set from Hulkar completed.
Yeah, rinse and repeat as well. I mean, they were challenged a little bit more defensively, weren't they, in the last set? Saints did manage to put a shift play together, but they're starting from exactly the same place.
Now, working its way forward here. Hagnall. Oh, flicks it away. That was risky, and that was knocked on. That is a disaster. That was such a low percentage play there from St Helens.
Right, it's just a bit of naivety from Owen Dagnall. You know, he's still finding his way in Super League. I think this is a guy with a big future ahead of him, but that's one of the early lessons he will learn. You've got to really pick your time. He clearly thought the pass was on. He got the arm away, just couldn't find Matt Whitley cleanly.
Whitley with a knock on. And now an opportunity again for the Robins. Overall, he'll be concerned. Been a tough start for his side so far.
He always knew that, look, there were going to be periods. You know, it's such a marquee day for the Robins. You know, the first game here for 100 and how many days?
74.
Yeah, I mean, it's a long time. A long time between drinks for Super League games for these fans.
Yeah, well, they're hearing good numbers, as they always are. So the Robins again gifted possession. What can they do with it here? Here's a Moan. He's well met. Tackle. Delaney involved, as was Wingfield. Well, now into the hands again of Minchella. Again, they're looking to come back towards this side. Now Lewis will drive back in field. They just can't get hold of him at the moment. And when they do, it's a robust tackle. Good shot goes in from Percival. There goes Amon. Couple of tackles left in the set. Litton gets it away now. Again, they come to this left-hand side. Lewis steps out of one. Should be wrapped up. He is 15 out. Last tackle. Tyrone May wants the ball at first receiver. He gets it now. He's coming back to this side. He's looking for Hadley and Burgess. Burgess a threat, but this time Dagnall gets off the ground well and takes it nicely.
Yeah, good confident take. It's the first set, I think, in good field position where they've kind of meandered through the tackles. I don't think there was any really kind of any real impetus to that set. But I tell you what, they've turned the heat up here defensive. Look at the line speed now. Dagnall, nowhere to go, dead end.
Big shot goes in there. No way through. Are they going to look to spread it along their try line? They are. But they still find a wall of white. Missing some big bodies, aren't they, in that forward pack? Good run from Hastings. Valuable 10, but look at this. They're on their own 20. This is the last tackle. Sailor will put boot to ball. It swirls in the air. Broadbent will catch it on the full. And again, the Robins are going to start inside St Helens territory.
And do you know what? Look, I know they arguably lose a lot with Arthur Morg being injured, but Jack Broadbent does a brilliant job, particularly on kick returns. I think he offers them a great deal, chews the meters up, puts them in great positions like this.
Tackle made, 25 out. Robins looking for a third try in the opening quarter of this game. Oh, that was a late hit. Looked like it. Here's Hadley trying to get through the gap. We're coming back. And this is a penalty right in front of the post here.
There was no need for it either. David Clemmer's gone through. And he'll argue to the referee. I got there as quick as I could. But yeah, look, player in the act of passing. Ball's released. It's a cheap penalty to give away. He'll be disappointed when he sees that back, David Clemmer. You get the feeling they might just take the two here on offer.
Well, they're having a little bit of a board meeting. Yeah, Lewis points to the post, sees one of two tonight, and this to make it a 12-point lead. So unnecessary when you're under pressure, and they do keep inviting Hull Kingston Rovers in. You can't afford cheap penalties like that.
No, and I think, look, you know, the Robins have got the tails up clearly, and they've started this game on fire, but like you said, they have been handed possession and territory on a number of occasions, and that, I mean, that's just a gimme. Like, it's such an easy penalty for the referee to blow. It's as clear as you like, and regardless of either team's position at the moment, against a St Helens side, if points are an offer, you take them.
Yeah, Clemmer, 260 NRL appearances. Plenty of experience, but that wasn't one of his finest moments. Lewis then looking to add the extras here. It's been a tough old start to the campaign for the Robins. He'd win the World Club Challenge across the city.
20 seconds, Mikey.
Having won them all, the task is to retain them all. The kick from Lewis is a good one. Flags go up, and the Robins lead by 12.
Yeah, really accomplished first quarter from the home side. Mikey Lewis, as I've said on a number of occasions, he's got his running boots on this evening. That is a real threat for anybody. Getting through the sets, the defence looks on point. There is some violent contact going on, and the Saints have really got to get and find any rhythm or flow to the game so far.
Yeah, they have. Another big week. Tomorrow, NRL, Panthers, Eels. No love lost between them. 6:30 Sky Sports action. The Cowboys and the Storm follows it at 8:30. And tomorrow in the Super League, Wigan take on Huddersfield. No coach yet for them. 2:55 on Sky Sports Plus, followed by Leigh to lose, the 5:25s on Sky Sports Plus. Sunday, across the city as Hull look to back up their win over Leeds. They take on the Dragons, who beat Hull KR last week. And there'll be a party at Headingley as Leeds take on Warrington, with the original opening Super League fixtures 30 years ago. We're live from 4:30, some star guests amongst it, and the all-time Super League 13 will be named. Now a challenge went in on Lewis. Play on, says the referees. Had a look at it. In fairness, Lewis is up. It was Delaney who got to Lewis, but he did cuddle him, if you like, to the ground.
Yeah, I think that's, look, you know, so long as there's an attempt to tackle, as Dagnall goes on another run, flirts with the touchline. But in this occasion, he opts not to pass, takes the meters.
If he gets in the free, he is quick. And now they're looking to swing it all the way over to the other side. Cross wrapped up by Peter Hiku. Drags him back. That's good defence. Well, they're showing St Helens determined they're going to throw it around, but they just can't get out of their own half at the moment. The Saints will bring it forward here with Hastings. Finds Tristan Sailor, short pass. Good tackle from Gildart. Did well to bring Whitley to the ground. Hastings sends it downfield. Is this going out on the full? No, right on the sideline. Good catch from Broadbent. This time he's going to have to return it into some blue and white pressure. and he's racked him on the 30. Not the worst set, that, from St Helens.
No, better from Saints, but great spatial awareness from Broadbent. He knew how close he was to that touchline.
The champions lead by 12.
Yeah, look, over a quarter of the game gone now. You know, Hull KR have had dominated possession. And just take a look at that. Play the balls in the opposition 20, the red zone, the danger zone for opposition. Saints yet to have a look in.
Oh, they're going to get another look here at Hull Kingston Rovers, and they're going to score a try. Are they? Litton gets away, and he'll go in at the side of the post. Brilliant from Hull Kingston Rovers. Their third try of the night. And based on what we've seen in the opening quarter, this could be a long old night for St Helens. They trail by 16 points to 0.
Yeah, really well constructed play. They made it look very, very easy. The fans really getting into the groove now, as are their players on the field. And this will look really pretty on the replay. Jez Litton with the try. He finishes off on the inside, supporting Petter Hiku. And their problems in this first half for St Helens, yet to get in a groove from an attacking perspective. Just look at the way that the players peel off late. Tyrone May steps out and across and through Shane Wright, and then finds Jez Litton in support. That was really nice from Tyrone May. It's a late move from open to the short side. Catches St Helens players flat-footed, glides through the gap, and then Jez Litton supports and dots down to the right of the uprights. What an accomplished start from the Robins.
Yeah, been brilliant so far. Jez Litton had a wow of a year last year that culminated in that Ashes selection. And he was one of England's finest in what was a disappointing Ashes series. Lewis looking to add another 2 onto the tally. Should be pretty straightforward. What a start this has been then for the champions. Any talk of the off-putting news that speculation about Willie Peters? But it is 18 points to 0. Mikey Lewis with a try and 3 goals.
Yeah. Take a look at Tyrone May and what he does pre-play here. Tyrone May starts, look at him disappear just before they play the ball. Takes an extra number against the retreating defence. That's really, really well picked by the scrum half for the Robins. A really intelligent play. He spotted a late retreater. He moved late. The call came in. He got the ball and then laid it on a plate for Jez Litton. Really smart stuff. All the cogs were in there for Tyrone May.
Yeah. Here's Soaso Su. Tyrone May. 5 carries and a tackle bust and an assist. Top stuff from May. Grand final winner. Both hemispheres. Not many can say they've done that. Good offload, a late one as well. Ball now works its way forward again. Amon this time is wrapped up. He's 40 out from his own line. And still tackles in the back. Hadley gets it away. Lewis quick pass finds Burgess. Burgess has got pace. He's gone round Robertson. Ball look. Oh, that ball left him. Tristan Saylor left him. And Burgess just strolled down the sideline. See you later, he says. Second try of the night. They are destroying St Helens here. 22 points to 0.
Oh, it's a streak away from Burgess. He's a really deceptive player. He's not an explosive sprinter, but he is a glider. And he fools a lot of people. Tristan Saylor, look, ignore that. It was a 2-on-1 and he took a gamble. But just how they create the space, again, another late retreating Percival on the front foot. Real quick hands from Mikey Lewis. Burgess down the wing, he's got Gildart in support. It's a straight 2-on-1. Look, Tristan Saylor took a gamble there. He was banking on Burgess passing. And Burgess did not blink. Takes the outside, glides around the outside of Robinson, who's no slouch himself, and then sees the opportunity. Saylor disappears in the rearview mirror, and Burgess at the double. These hands are nice from Mikey Lewis. Dagnall was putting some real pressure on him. It's a great pass. And then Burgess streaks away for his second and keeps up that really impressive strike rate. Gives a nod to the crowd. I think that's a nod to the Saints crowd. And Willie Peters up on his feet, but there is some really nice play in the build-up to this from Mikey Lewis. The pass The catch and pass under pressure from Owen Dagnall was special.
56% chance of kicking this one. 3 from 4. The one he missed was from a very similar position. But this is a much better strike, and he's not missing again. That is through the middle. 24 points to 0. This Robbins left edge playing like he did for large parts of 2025.
Yeah, really smooth, really well put together. Mikey Lewis pass, that is outstanding. Frees up Burgess, stands up Robertson, and then, yeah, Saylor just takes a gamble. He comes up with nothing. Burgess comes up with a try. Hull KR, well, they are well in control of this match now. I am really keen to see what Saints' response is here.
I was going to ask the question, as good as they've been, Hull KR down the left, what does Paul Rowley do about the right-hand side of his defence?
Yeah, it's an issue, isn't it?
The centre field here, and they're setting up again to come down this side. There is Whitbread. Play it now. Here's Hadley again.
That's a good carry. It's just too quick at the moment. Too quick for Saints.
There's a big gap behind the ruck area. They almost broke through again. Changes as well. Darryl Clark into the action for Saints. High kick. Saylor collects it. Thought about the pass and will take the tackle. Well, they just cannot get out of their own half at the moment.
No, they're really struggling. Look, I think the Robins, they're investing so much in these first couple of tackles. Really strong contact, driving St Helens players back.
Here is Darryl Clark, missed last week's win in Toulouse. And now is Hastings. Hastings short ball. Again, over the top of the tackle of May. Hastings will kick again, a low kick this time. It's going to bobble its way towards Broadbent, but it got a beautiful bounce. He could have just done without rolling on the ground, really, to stop Broadbent in his tracks, but it didn't happen. And here come Wilkinson Rovers again.
We showed you a stat earlier, didn't we, about the number of play the balls in the opposition 20. I actually can't remember the last time they had to play the ball in the opposition half, St Helens.
No.
It has been one-way traffic, and the Robins at the moment, they are running on top of the ground here.
Yeah, look, and we've seen a lot this year that, as here goes Lewis again, we've seen a lot of possession is based on the back of 6 again. That's not been the case tonight. They're just steamrolling straight down the field here. Almost unstoppable at the moment. Is Burgess going to be eyed up for the hat-trick here? That's the way they're going. Maida, Lewis. Lewis gets it. Oh, could he have passed? Should he have passed? He's tackled just a couple of metres away.
Yeah, I think he's just apologised to Burgess there. He was in for a first-half hat-trick, wasn't he? But yeah, Dagnall again out of the line. Just not quite getting his man. He's covered this occasion on the inside, but you look where they finish. It's not a bad place, is it? And look at these carries now. These are tough carries for St Helens. This is bite down on the gum shield time for St Helens.
They need an out, don't they? They need a penalty or a missed tackle, something to get them out of this predicament that they're in. 24 points to 0 and a dominant first half an hour for Willie Peters' side. Oh, now then. Well, slow to get to his feet here. This is a worry for Saints.
Yeah, I thought Dion Cross, when I first saw the tackle, it looked like he'd just been chopped down, but he's clearly landed awkwardly.
Time off.
The referee has stopped play here. And we'll check this in the background as Cross is getting some attention from the physio. Mentioned without a host of players already, Saints. They don't want to be losing any to head knocks here. Paul Rowley looking on.
Just to let you know, it has been reviewed, and there's no contact with the head. I didn't tell him to play the ball.
Well, they've had a look at it upstairs, and no contact with the head, so it will be play on as and when Dion Cross is able to get to his feet.
I just think maybe the mechanics of the tackle, there was maybe a bit of whiplash in there for Dion Cross, because he did look like he was chopped down. You look at the way that it's just an awkward fall. Maybe it's just caught a knee in the back of the head, but You know, there's not an awful lot you can do about that. Elliot Minchilla can't disappear his right leg, can he?
Yeah, I think Minchilla almost acknowledged, didn't he, there'd been some contact there, but there was certainly no intent in that. Well, all level up at the LNER. York 6, Wakefield 6. That's on Sky Sports Plus. Darryl Powell's side. Well, a green card. So Saints' problems go from bad to worse. The irony of that, you're 24-0 down. You're not exactly trying to waste time, are you?
No. Well, all you're doing is putting air back in the lungs of Hull KR, who are now again screaming out the line and giving Saints absolutely nothing. Short side play from Darryl Clark. First little run from him.
Yeah, some valuable meters, but again, look at this. 30 out from their own line. They're having a kick, and the pressure's all on Hastings, who gets the kick. Now that was charged down. And it's played at, well, who touched it? Noah Stevens let it bounce, and Burgess picked it up, and that's the worst possible outcome here. They've got bodies flowing through the line, and Saints were busted open down to 12, remember, and now it's another set of 6 here. Litton will get it away to Lewis. Lewis finds Whitbread loitering with intent on that left-hand side. Litton to Luckley off the bench. He fancies a go at the line. Can he get an offload? He does. Litton's dropped it though. But was it knocked on by St Helens? No, it wasn't. Litton might challenge this. I think he felt that he didn't touch it.
Lost by you.
Well, Litton is having to think about it. Needs to be quick.
You want a challenge? I'm sure my view is it's the end.
And they are, I think, going to challenge this.
Time off. Jack, we have a captain's challenge. Hull KR are challenging the on-field decision of a knock-on. They're claiming there's a first knock-on, prior knock-on by St Helens.
It's tackle 1. Hull KR are challenging the ruling of a knock-on. Clear play to this point. Litton has got possession of the ball. So Litton gets to the ball first. Then Harry plays at the ball. Let's just check that he touches the ball and not the hand. This one might show us. So we've got Litton in possession, and you can see. Let's go on this angle. Yeah, camera 8's our best one. You can see on this, Litton is in possession and Harry Robertson plays at the ball. Back to camera 4 for perspective. And the ball is then travelling forward off Robertson. So the challenge by Hull KR will be successful. It's a knock-on by Harry Robertson.
Well, there you go. When it's your night, it's your night. And Hull Kingston Rovers at the moment are getting everything. They're the dominant force, and they will win their challenge, and they're going to get another set 20 metres out.
Yeah, and Sam Luckley will give a quiet nod to Harry Robertson as well, because I think he's got him out of a situation. Not sure the offload needed to be thrown. Harry Robertson desperate to try and stop any progression of that play, but in doing so has knocked on. So the Robins once again, as we've become so accustomed to seeing in this half, in possession and in the danger zone.
Yeah, here's Hiku looking to get to that edge, can't do so. Luckily on for Tom Amone. The Robins looking to maybe put this game out of St Helens' reach even early in the piece here. Lewis into the line, Whitbread almost through, gets it away and then will score. Lewis is over for his second, and this left-hand side is having a field day. Saints defence cannot cope. The Robins fans jubilant. It's another try for Lewis.
God, that's a sensational piece of handling from Jai Whitbread. First of all, the line was strong. The line was just unconditional from Whitbread, and a real early foil for Lewis, but then take a look at what he's able to do post-contact. Just hits a really strong, uncompromising line, and then it's almost a blind offload to Lewis, who follows on the outside. And that's a great connection between back rower and halfback and Mikey Lewis. Geez, nose for the line. Takes the applause from the coach. And you mentioned does a try at this stage, take it away from St Helens. Well, look, no score is insurmountable, but from what I've seen from both sides, And so the Helens haven't even clicked. There's nothing doing for them. They've not been allowed to do anything. Too many errors, both in attack and in defence. And the Robins, well, they've been absolutely ruthless.
There wasn't too much being said in that little team meeting, was there? Lewis looking to add yet another 2 points to his ever-growing personal tally. 76% chance of making this one. Get it in the book, it is another 2, and it is 30 points to 0. And this is getting savage on St Helens.
Yeah, drilled the conversion as well. And take a look at Mikey Lewis's stats as well. This is all inside the first 40 minutes. 2 tries, 2 assists. Look at the number of carries. You know Mikey Lewis, he's on when he touches the ball as frequently as he does. He's having a running night as well, closing in on 100 metres. And it has been a really accomplished first half performance from the Robins. Welcome home.
Well, the next job really for Saint, they've got to get to the half without any more damage done here.
It's been a disaster for them, hasn't it? It's been a disastrous first 40 minutes.
It has, and their right-hand side has been ripped to shreds here. Ben Jones-Bishop rolling back the years. The former Wakefield man has given York the lead. 10-6 over on Sky Sports Plus. Here's May, bounces out of 1 tackle. Eventually wrapped up. 40 out, last one for the Robins. Lewis, is he going to send it airborne? He is. Sailor waits at the back. Pressure coming on him, will collect it. Steps away from 1, but they've not missed a beat, have they, Hull Kingston Rovers? They have been outstanding tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And just the kick chase as well, how they settle and transition from attack to defence. You know, it's the perfect description. They have not missed a beat. It has been like clockwork for them.
Yeah,
and it does belie the travails they've had in the start of this season, haven't they? They haven't found that flow state that we got so used to seeing from them last season. Well, I think this is an emphatic response to anybody who was doubting the credentials of Hull KR this year.
Yeah, here is Shorrocks, gets it away to Hastings. Bit of shape finally here. Robertson slips the ball away. Cross back on the field, is tackled. Last one.
Still not at their own half, though.
No, they're not. They've had 35% possession, and this is only their 10th set. They are getting battered on every single statistic you can look at. And there might be more problems here as Gilda... Oh, it's a forward pass. Finally, an error from Hull Kingston Rovers. Finally.
It's the first opening, the first chink, the first gift for the visiting side. And do you know what? It was very nearly something else completely, wasn't it? Because that was a very, very marginal forward pass.
I'll tell you what, if you could challenge that, they would have challenged that, and I think they might have had grounds to as well.
You know, they've got to. You picked this right edge 20 minutes ago. They've really, that is not working in sync, is it? The Percival-Dagnall combination. They have to make some adjustments.
"15 out from the line. Here goes Robertson. Gets it away now. Shorrocks lays it back. Well, this would be a smash and grab if they could come down this end and grab some points. Can they do it here now? Hastings gets it away. Cross-angled run, well met by May. A couple of metres out from the line. Ball now. Gets it away, and Delaney, whose knock-on really off the opening kick, has really set the tone here tonight. Hastings did well to hang on to it, had a bit of a juggle, gets the ball away. They've not offered too much. Can they get a repeat set minimum? Short side play. Hastings is going to go to ground, and they tackle 2 metres out. Bit of a nothing set from Paul Rowley's side.
Yeah, huffed and puffed, but not really able to make a dent in that Robins defence. It's been a novel position for them, hasn't it, in the opposition 20. Look, they do have an opportunity to close out this second half and apply a little bit of pressure. Here comes the line speed. Big contact. Big contact.
These are some tough carries. And that's another side of this. You look where the game has been played. Petrol-wise, Saints have had to do a lot of defending down their end of the field. What impact will that have in the second half? Ball swung wide again. They're going to play. Ball bounces for Burgess. Should be wrapped up, and is. It's over a minute left. I get the feeling that Hull Kingston Rovers are in the mood to chance their arm here. This is the last one. Lewis has come short side. They're going for the 40-20, but Saylor is back, so they get one last chance. It is half-time at York, and it is Wakefield. Ollie Pratt has scored right on the buzzer to put Wakefield in front. And now a penalty. All feels a little bit too late, doesn't it, for Saints?
Well, they're going to get 45 seconds here to try and make an impression, try and make a dent in this Robins defence.
Get a couple of tackles. They come up with a play of their own. They're going to fire it wide. Here's Robertson, got 2-on-1. Robertson gets it away. Oh, Dagnall's dropped it. Well, this right side is not working in defence, and it's not working in attack either. Here's Hadley taken down. One play left. Litton out of dummy half. Litton probing. He's going to put the kick through, looking for Burgess. Burgess didn't quite get the bounce in. He's staying in the field of play. The ball's knocked on anyway. And here's Saylor. Oh, Saylor with a chip, giving it straight to Litton. It's a foot race now for the corner, and the ball eventually, St Helens will go to ground with it, and the referee will say that's enough. Wow, what an end. Willie Peters started the night by answering questions about his future, but at half-time he will be bubbling because his all-conquering side have put on a first-half masterclass here. It ended a bit of a comedy of errors from both sides, but at the break it is going to be an emphatic lead. The Robins march their way into the sheds at the break. 5 tries in that first half. Saints in big trouble here at the break. Hull Kingston Rovers 30, St Helens 0.
Mark John, thank you very much. Wow. First home game in Super League in 2026 for the reigning champions Hull Kingston Rovers, and they have filleted the visiting Saints, who come into this one, will remind you, on the back of a 5-game winning run in League and Cup. Has the season started for the Robins at long last? We'll discuss that with John Wilkin and Sam Tompkins here on Sky Sports after this. Well, of course, this weekend on Sky Sports, we celebrate 30 years of Super League. When the competition started in 1996, York Knights and Wakefield, I should say, were not involved. They are in action in Super League tonight. And this try from Ollie Pratt has given the visiting Wakefield Trinity side a 2-point half-time lead. It's cold here at Soul Group Craven Park. But this action on the field from the Robins has been red hot. They have been simply sensational in pulling apart St Helens, leading at half-time 30-0 in front of a huge, expectant crowd that, like the players, like the coach of Hull Kingston Rovers, have had a lot to process in the last 24 hours. Let's just quickly recap on what's broken. News breaking that Willie Peters will probably be announced as the new coach for the NRL franchise, the PNG Chiefs, leaving this club at the end of the year. We expect that announcement to be made. Hull Kingston Rovers won just one of their first 4 Super League games. Big question marks, all answered.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the first game at home, first game at Craven Park this year, we were expecting a 2025-like performance from Hull KR in the light of Willie Peters leaving, which is big news, isn't it? It's huge news. And we wanted to see a performance that we could recognise from Hull KR. Wow, they delivered, Sam, in every aspect of the game, dominant in every aspect.
Yeah, they've completely out-muscled, outclassed this Saints side. We've only seen Hull KR play well for 80 minutes this year so far. That was against Brisbane Broncos. Well, we've just seen another 40 minutes there that was as dominant as they could possibly be. Really, really impressive half.
Field position, statistics, all in favour of Hull Kingston Rovers. I mean, you see a St Helens side return so few metres, so many missed tackles in 40 minutes.
Yeah, no, I just think it's completely dominant. Possession is the big one for me. When you dominate possession, metres, and the number of tackles you make often follows that. 21 missed tackles from Saints, 5 errors, but play the balls in the opposition. For only 15 playables, 30 is a good return.
Well, take us into St Helens' start, which was anything but good.
Yeah, no, I mean, when you come into a game like this, Sam, you're always looking for a big start, and it was a tragic start of George Delaney making an error off the first play of the game, and that just gifted Hull KR field position. It allows Mikey Lewis to use his good ball kicking game.
Yeah, and this kick is absolutely on the money. Joe Burgess, one of the best aerial catchers in the league. The way that he pulls himself out right to the sideline and then comes in and attacks the ball. To catch a ball that high up and have the strength and the balance to get over the line, very impressive.
Yeah, it was a great kick target, but that was all off the back of the Delaney error. It just gave Hull KR this period of possession. Second try here from Mikey Lewis. Gildart kicks it back inside. Lewis just on side, kicks it back to Tristan's shoulders. Tristan Saylor's inside shoulder. I love this strength. He's so nuggety and strong near the line.
He is so strong through his hips. This Saints, they're going to watch this back in review and they're going to be embarrassed. There's no way your half-back should be running through 4 players. Look, they look desperate, they're getting in the right place, but that's not enough. You've got to tackle the guy.
Yeah, I know, but Mikey Lewis can embarrass defenders like that, and he's embarrassed a few Saints defenders there. So strong.
That try converted, gave him a 10-0 lead. He tacked on 2 more points after a penalty, so 12-0 to the home side. Now, we asked, could they find a way to defend in 2026 with quicker rucks? 4 men last year in tackles, a lot of times 3 men. They have found a way to defend tonight.
Yeah, I could recognise Hull KR's defence here tonight as something we've seen before. The initial contact was great, but look at these 2 players here off the line. Great initial contact, great control, and then follow it up with, look, your line's back, the Hull KR line's set, and it's a sprint off the line. This is what I recognise about Willie Peters' defensive performance. Not only defending the hardest players, but we spoke about rolling ball and moving the ball. Well, look at Petr Hiku, up, strong contact, controlling Saints, and that gives Hull KR possession. And what about this from Tyrone May, Sam?
Tyrone May, such an instinctive player. He picks out there's going to be a mismatch on an edge. He's just got to stand up his back rower, and he's got them in all sorts. He's got this Sentel inside, really worried. Tracking round to a short side, split straight through, has the skill to pass inside. Just such great work from Tyrone May. That's what he does. He spots mismatches, as does this guy.
Yeah.
Mikey Lewis popping up on a short side. That execution of the pass.
And it's 4-on-3. If they just executed a great 4-on-3 down the short side, Tristan Saylor, what are you doing?
That's
mental. But anyway, that's just a poor play. And we speak about classic half-back play. What about that? Play short and support. It's old school.
That's
brilliant.
A stereotypical half. Tip it into a guy going through, back up on the outside for the offload. Very, very neat play from Mikey Lewis.
OK, Sam Tompkins, Willie Peters applauding what he's seen. John Wilkin tipped Hull Kicks the Rovers. You tipped St Helens. What's their ambition for the second 40? Same question coming up to you shortly about KR.
They've got to find a way to not be suffocated by this Hull KR side, and I think that starts with the intent in which they carry the ball. In the first 40 minutes, they've made 260 metres. The back 3 for Hull KR have made more than the full Saints side, so they're going to have to run with a little bit more intent this half.
Ambition for KR?
Yeah, drill Saints with the D, put them in bad spots, defend like the champion side what they are.
And keep them scoreless.
Well, that'd be lovely, wouldn't it?
Hasn't happened to St Helens since Magic Weekend 2024. Ellen Road against their arch rivals Wigan. What lies ahead in the second 40 of this round 6 fixture from the Betfred Super League here at Soul Group Craven Park on Sky Sports. The champions are running riot against the Saints. Second half on the way after this. The only constant in life is change. Change can mean opportunity. It can mean growth. But in an ever-evolving world, sometimes you just need a place called home when everything else is changing. And Super League has been a great constant on Sky Sports for 30 years. We'll continue our coverage of round 6 and build up to Sunday's special broadcast celebrating the 30th birthday of this great competition when Leeds face Warrington. That's 4:30 p.m. Sunday on Sky Sports Action, and 3 other belting Super League games for you before that, all on Sky Sports Plus. Well, the champions, Hull Kingston Rovers, have kick-started their season that had spluttered in the first 4 rounds for them. But they lead at half-time 30-0 against St Helens. A demolition job, and you feel there's more to come from them in the second 40. Jenna, what on earth was said at St Helens, in St Helens dressing room at half-time?
Well, just one word really from Paul Rowley: defend in this second half, try and get back in this game. As for Willie Peters, well, this is more like the Hull KR that we saw in 2025. He says the job now is just to repeat and discipline in defence, in attack, but I think all they needed was just to come home. But let's go back upstairs.
Cheers, Jenna. Teams out for the second half. It has to be said, St Helens were out significantly earlier than their hosts here. We're about to get underway. Can Saints find a little bit of respect here at Craven Park? It's going to be tough, isn't it? Second half.
Well, I've not seen no evidence whatsoever from the first 40 minutes that St Helens have got what it takes to challenge Hull KR tonight. I think the Robins they're on it, focused, dialed in. And a really accomplished first 40 minutes.
It has. Those errors early on really set the tone, didn't they, from a St Helens perspective? They dropped the first carry on the kick-off, and they were made to pay, and here come the Robins again, and again Saints were backing off there. Allowed May over halfway. He's tackled, 5 in from touch, last one. Hiku will get it away to Lewis. He's going to send it high. A deep kick. Saylor will catch it on his own 10. He'll make his way up to the 20. Is it as simple as Paul Rowley just saying, look, go out and win the second half? Is that as basic as it gets now?
Look, I think it looks very much to me like this is a game that's been decided. You never want to count a side like St Helens out, but that is a monstrous task they've set themselves.
Well, they've probably made more meters on this set than they did in any set in the first half, so that's a positive. Here's Robertson, gets it away. Clark will feed it across. Here's Hastings. Here now is Saylor. Saylor with a little bit of footwork. Can't find an offload. Yes, he can. Gets it to Hastings. Here goes Stevens. Stevens bumping off defenders. Great carry. Can he get the ball away? He does. And it's taken in by Dagnall. Foot race to the corner. Dagnall, he's going to score. What a try. What a start to the second half. And take about Noah Stevens, the big forward, bumping him off. Gets the ball away, and Dagnall does the rest.
But much more direct set from St Helens. It was route one first and then give the ball some air. Dagnall with a finish, which we will come to. But first of all, as we watch the ball go from right to left, Saylor bounces back across the ruck and then finds Noah Stevens. And this young interchange, well, I'll tell you what, he gave it the beans to Mikey Lewis, bumped off into the space that he created, and then that's a fair pass as well. This took some finishing from Dagnall. Rode 2 tackles on the way to the line, ducks back on the inside, but full credit here to Noah Stevens. Still a young man, still finding his way, but I tell you what, there's a lot of him. He's big and raw-boned and aggressive, and what about that for a contact? Shrugs off Mikey Lewis, finds the pass to Dagnall, and just as I was about to write Saints off for the evening, will they remind us what a champion side they can be.
Here is Hastings then looking to tackle under the 2. His first shot of the night, pushes it across the face of the post. Let's get down to pitch side then with news on Mark Percival. Is Jenna Brooks.
Yeah, Mark, you would have noticed that Mark Percival, St Helens centre, has not returned for the second half. I just spoke to the club doctor. He's tweaked his leg. I can tell you that Jake Davies has come on in his place.
Thank you. Well, we saw in the warm-up that Percival had his leg heavily bandaged, but he's been taken out of the action. And a try at last for St Helens. Well, you said about writing off the Saints. A wise man, of course, once said, never write them off.
Yeah, I don't think he ever said it at 30-0 down, though. And they've found themselves in a hole, but they're doing the very best to dig themselves out of it. This is more like St Helens. Second phase play, Darrell Clark now on the travel.
He's made an impact already, only been on the field a short period. Here's Robertson. Well, I'll tell you what, one thing we're going to know, Paul Rolly's side, they're not going to die wondering, are they? If they're going to go for it, they're going to go for it in style.
Yeah. Well, what I will say, I think what they did really well in the previous set, which led to the tries, and they remembered they need to go forward first.
Yeah, here's Hastings, finds Saylor again. Saylor gets it away. Quick hands, was that a forward pass? No, it wasn't. Murphy will go to ground, 20 out. No, standing the tackle as well. Last one. Can they get a good kick to end the set? Hastings floats it, but no real pressure. Lacked any real height, didn't it, the kick?
No,
and now they're offside. Tackle in the air.
Yeah, tackle in the air. Just.
Got to wait for him to land.
It was a split-second thing. Very difficult to get your timing right on this. Ball goes up. Everybody's onside, and it was, I think, Broadbent has not. Yeah, he got the legs up, didn't he?
So Hastings not got to get that higher?
Sorry?
Has he not got to kick that higher?
Arguably gives his players a chance to challenge directly for the ball. But a much brighter start to the second half than the first for St Helens. And they do have a set of defence to do here.
Yeah, well, they've shown one side of the game has improved. What about the other side of it? As Luckley is tackled. Litton will get it away to Lewis.
Well, the shoulders. The shoulders have barely had time to cool down, won't they? They'll have been well worked over in that first 40 minutes.
Here is Minchella. Falls to the ground. 35 out. Ball now to May. Finds a looping pass for Broadbent. Tried to put the footwork on, but Saints are having none of that. Last one. May peels off to the right. He will get hands on it now. He is going to put some height on it, and he's going to invite Saylor into some pressure. Got off the ground. That's a decent take. Thought for a second he might have jumped past it, but he hangs onto it nicely.
Yeah, it was a crowded landing zone, wasn't it? He got in there. Really strong call, committed catch. But once again, the Robins now going to work defensively. They're really good. They've become an excellent team at putting opposition into corners.
Yeah. Well, here's Robertson looking to get them out of a sticky situation. Such a bright young talent. Inch their way forward. Here's Shorrocks, finds Hastings, nice pass, finds Saylor. They're starting to link up nicely here. Good aggressive defence on the fifth one. And now Hastings will kick. But again, it's straight to Broadbent, catches it on the full. He's going to be met, though, just short of the 40. Oh, he's dropped that, did he? That ball came out, didn't it? The referee's got a decision to make here. He's not signalled now, he's given a penalty. So it was taken out, but it was taken out illegally.
Yeah, there's no challenge whatsoever as well. The Saints players they've departed the scene, haven't they? No one's questioning this one. It's another average kick from Hastings, isn't it? Straight down the throat of Broadbent.
The ball just got pulled out. Here, though, is the counter. And now they're racing down the touchline. Burgess for the hat-trick. He's in. Joe Burgess on the back of the penalty. And it is a Burgess hat-trick.
Well, you just can't give this man any space, can you? You cannot give him room to move. 6th try of the Super League season, hat-trick try this evening, and he is a pass master. This was the offence that put Hull KR in position. It was Shorrocks with the steal, no complaints from Saints, and straight from the tap, through 3 pairs of hands, out to Mikey Lewis. Gildart commits the defender. Owen Dagnall found himself in no man's land again, and then just outpaced, outgunned by Burgess, who shows a clean pair of heels to the despairing Saints defence. Normal service resumed then. Hat-trick try for Burgess, and a warning again. Do not give this man room.
Yeah, 5th hat-trick for Hull Kingston Rovers, the 15th of his career. 6 tries already for the campaign. Lewis in front of that big terrace over on the far side. We'll be hoping to add on another 2 here. It all comes about. It's a cheap penalty to give away, isn't it?
Yeah, and it puts you immediately under pressure, given the way that OKR have been playing. But there will be a long video review for this right edge. Shorrocks was the man who erred. He stole the ball from Broadbent. And 40 seconds later, he stood underneath his own sticks, wondering what happened.
The crowd will tell us. This looks pretty good. It is pretty good. Lewis on target again. 36 points to 4.
Joe Burgess with the hat-trick. His opposition winger will be having nightmares about this man. He finds himself in a really unenviable position. Dagnall, he's got to try and cover 2 players. I think he came up and compressed too early. And Burgess, well, as a man who needs no invitation, he will kick the doors in if you give him half an opportunity. Needs so little space to work in, so effective.
Yeah, it certainly is. Burgess, 3 tries, 125 metres, couple of line breaks. Just another night at the office for the flying winger. Might be getting another chance here. They're working it out on that far side. Well, any hopes of a Saints revival were very brief. Ball now across to Broadbent. Can he get an arm free? No, not on this occasion, he can't. Hiku finds May. Oh, beautiful pass, finds Hadley, hitting up the middle. Luckily now, with a bit of running room for the big fella. Can't find an offload, goes to ground. Just outside the 30, last one. Lewis, are they going for the power play? They are, and they're in again. But a scramble gets back. Look, for a second they'd open them up again, but this time St Helens do handle it.
No, it's so dangerous. The full set there where St Helens just could not live with the speed of the ruck from the Robins. So dominant into contact, quick play the balls, and spent the entire set on the retreat.
Yeah, right wrapped up. He gets it away. Here goes Hastings now. Murphy looking for some work. He's tackled. It's a huge weekend for the Super League. We'll be live at Headingley on Sunday for the 30th birthday. One of the original fixtures, the Rhinos and the Warrington Wolves doing battle. Here comes St Helens now. Right tackled. All the action from 4:30 at Headingley on Sunday afternoon. Shorrocks finds Hastings, who finds Robertson. Robertson can't get the ball away. Tackled on the 5th on halfway. Kick pressure coming on Hastings, who just hacks it away across the field. It will bounce up invitingly for Davis. He's tackled.
Well, I'll tell you what, the kick pressure turned what was potentially a really threatening kick into a poor one from Hastings. You credit Hadley with that really good work on the last tackle. It looks like it's the last act for Hadley as well. He's replaced.
Yeah, here's Broadbent down the short side off at the dummy. There was no one to pass it to. Davis was trying to keep up.
It's just too quick. Just far too quick for St Helens.
I'll say what we said earlier on. This is not on the back of 6 again penalties. This is just too quick. They can't control it at the moment, can they?
No.
Run through the middle. And mentioned it's a big weekend coming up this weekend. It's a huge weekend next weekend as well. Here now goes Lewis. Lewis gets through, not a hand on him. He's got a hat-trick as well. Lewis salutes the crowd. Saints submission continues. The Robins rampant. And now it's Lewis down that left-hand side who helps himself to a treble.
Underlying his status as one of the very best in Super League. We told you he was on a running night. Mikey Lewis, his hat-trick, his 5th of the season. And he goes through the line. Again, St Helens defenders just standing off, expecting the kick. Fends off Robertson, darts his way to the corner. It's a very, very special player we are watching in Mikey Lewis. We're just starting to find the form that impressed and wowed everybody in 2025. Just a great fend, isn't it? Owns up the space and then rounds Tristan Saylor. Finishes in the corner, salutes the crowd. Well, this is an exhibition from Hull Kingston Rovers. It really is.
Well, it's his 4th hat-trick for the Robins. What a night he's having. Just slotted one from the sideline. He's looking for another 2 here. Well, look at that. Had a tough day at work, travelled all the way to support his beloved team, and they do this to him.
And for those who know what the M62 is like on a Friday afternoon, that's some commitment.
Yeah.
OK, Mikey, 24 personal points this evening. Can he make it 26?
He got the legs. No, not this time. Not quite the connection he would have wanted. 6 from 8 with a boot, but a treble for Mikey and a big smile.
I think that's the stands booing him. What a player. Takes the applause as well from another great goal kicker, Luke Gale. What a display. There's a little hiccup, wasn't there, at the start of the second half as St Helens came out and let everybody know that they were still in this game, and then extinguished in the space of 5 minutes from the hat-tricks from Burgess and Lewis.
Yeah. So clinical, given the chances. Sue and Amon on, as Willie Peters gets his first choice. Front row back in action. Rivals round next weekend. We'll be here on Good Friday. The Robins taking on Hull FC. And they'll be going into it buoyant on the back of a big win. How big is the question, as Lewis again just wants more and more of the ball. This tackle, what's the pressure like? He can't get to May, sends it high. Robertson does well, and then falls over as he looked to try and propel himself back down the field.
Well, look at the chase again, though. And he had to move because the ball did move in the air. But again, kick chase and then tackle one, connected, met and driven by the Robins.
Carried forward by St Helens. They've got a big derby of their own next weekend as well. Full house for the visit of Wigan. Ball over the top. Dagnall can't take it in. The referee said it went backwards, and so did Dagnall with it. Last one. Well, the pass was on. Dagnall couldn't take it. Hastings, oh, that is an awful pass, and it's going to result in a try. And it's a strolling for Batchelor. Saints have collapsed here. Calamitous stuff. And now the floodgates are well and truly open here.
Well, a penny for his thoughts, because he's watching his side evaporate and the form evaporate, and what has been a really promising start to the Super League season. James Batchelor, the latest scorer for Hull KR. But again, look at the kick pressure. The fundamentals have been done so well this evening. This time it comes from Mikey Lewis. The pass was a shocker from dummy half. And Batchelor picks up the pieces. Now that's a poor pass from Whitley. And it's a simple catch and pass from Mikey Lewis, who would put the pressure on Hastings. Hastings spills the ball. There's not an awful lot more he could have done, to be honest. And Batchelor through, shut the gate, turn out the lights. The Robins are done. They pick up another 2 competition points. And there is a long way to go in the game. This could get really ugly for St Helens.
Yeah, it could be. Still over a quarter of the game to go. Well, we've mentioned that they're missing bodies, but that doesn't allow for what they've been doing tonight. A lot of individual errors.
Not an awful lot of chat there either, is there?
I'm not sure there's a great deal to say if you're wearing the retro blue and white shirt.
And that's the one plus I can think of. It's a really dashing kit. I think it looks proper smart.
Probably going in the bin after this. Yeah, roll back to 1996. Lewis boots over another 2. Hull Kingston Rovers showing the form that made them champions. Might be the start of the long goodbye for Willie Peters, but I guess once the the disappointment, there will be disappointment from all the Hull KR that is going on, but I think as Brian and the guys said earlier, it's not a surprise. We knew at some point he's going to be making the leap back to the NRL.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, you know, the measure of a coach is leaving a place in a better condition than you found it. And I think, you know, of all the coaches in Super League over the last 30 years that we're celebrating this weekend, I think Willie Peters would put himself right at the top of that list.
Yeah,
he has overseen a remarkable rise in this part of the country.
Yeah, he came in and has built a winning team. He will leave a legacy. Oh, an error from Hull Kingston Rovers. Make a note of that one. Tyrone May with the error. Well, there's been few and far between. There's one at the end of the first half and then just a simple drop ball.
Yeah, he'd moved to step B before he completed step A there, Tyrone May. He was focusing on the next act. So a momentary reprieve for St Helens.
£949 and the winning ticket number is 000.
Robertson will feed the scrum.
That's 3 zeros, 2-5. Winning prize £949.
Here he comes with the ball. Dale Cross will play it. What can they salvage from the scrap here at Craven Park? Stevens bumps his way forward. Plays the ball centre field. Hastings, short pass. There's Ignatius Parsi trying to power his way through the line. Ball now to Hastings. Robertson, well met by May. So good defensively, Tyrone May. Here's Darryl Clark. Finds Hastings. Gets it into the hands of Wingfield. Wingfield gets it away now to Hastings. Fires a pass wide. Is there an opportunity here? Ball dumped back to Saylor. Saylor kicks and it's collected by Burgess. And Hull Kingston Rovers get the ball back and Saints look to force another error.
Just such a functional defence. Just in sync. Connected. Calm. Never looked like being troubled by St Helens. It was a full set of 6 really, with the backs against the goal line and dealt with easily.
Oh, lift of the leg. Davis earns a penalty. More ill-discipline from St Helens.
Again, great work from Davis. We know Burgess has picked up a hatful of metres, and this man is one of the unsung heroes. He gets put in an awkward position by St Helens. It's Parsi who lifts the leg. But Tom Davis, 141 carries, and every single one of them has been into traffic.
Right, let's head down to pitch side and get some more news from Jenna Brooks.
Yeah, as we know, tonight is the first Super League home game for Hull KR, and what a crowd they have. I can tell you it's 12,169 in here tonight. It is a home sellout.
Good stuff, good news for Hull Kingston Rovers. All offloaded, here's Litton. Litton probing, tries to go through. Stevens will shut the door. Here now is May, fires it wide, they're trying to isolate again. Burgess is off again, dumps it back inside, another try. Whitbread it is, who powers his way over, his 3rd of the season. That left-hand side is on fire, and it's 4 more for the Robins, the 50's up.
Well, a half-century for Hull Kingston Rovers, and it has turned into a procession, hasn't it? Jai Whitbread, the latest try scorer, and Jenna mentioned the 12,000 odd fans crammed into this stadium tonight. We've got 12,000 happy souls, haven't we? We're witnessing a side returning to form. Early ball from Gildart, Burgess down the wing, basketball pass over the top, and Whitbread just carries the final defender over the line. It's Whitley operating in the centres, out of position it has to be said. But it's just, I mean, it's been in trouble all evening, this right edge, hasn't it? Burgess into space again. I mean, he's been afforded far too much room this evening.
Whitbread, the latest to add his name onto the ever-growing list of try scorers This a damaging night in what is a big few weeks for St Helens. Mikey Lewis hungry for more points. 64% chance of kicking this. Treating this with respect as though the scores are level.
Time back on.
Is he going to slot the extras this time? Yes, he does. Another 2 to add on to the misery of St Helens.
Yeah, Mikey Lewis, 28 points now. 3 tries, handful of goals. It's worth taking a look at this one more time. Just early ball again from Gildart. I love Gildart's attitude towards attacking centre play. Just provides so many opportunities for his wingman. On that occasion, Burgess with the try assist. He's such a silky player, is Burgess, and just always passes to players in a better positions than himself.
He does indeed. Right, there is another game tonight, and Tom Johnston has got the latest score for Wakefield, who lead by 6 over at York. You can follow that on Sky Sports Plus right now. Jack Brown into the action, and he's earned a penalty. It goes from bad to worse.
You know, it's Shane Wright, the culprit on this occasion. Just again, just look at the fight in the Robins here. Just Jack Brown refusing to concede the tackle. And gets the penalty, draws the penalty from Liam Ward.
Well, normally when they get over the halfway line, certainly in the second half, they've looked like they're going to score. Another good carry from Brown. He's found game time hard to come by. Enjoying it. A bit of a run tonight. An error from Lewis. Saints with 15 remaining. Ball to Parsi. Tackle just shy of the halfway line. Here now comes Saints, looking to put some movement, some threat against this Robins defence. Cross tackled. Into centre field, Saylor gets the ball away. It's tipped and dropped. An error again from St Helens.
Right, it sums up their evening, doesn't it? Nothing's worked for them, nothing's stuck, and they've been given so little time and space to work with. And that's largely due to the prowess this evening of Hull KR.
Yeah, there is a tribute being paid here in the stadium. Barney Eastwood, a lifelong Hull Kingston Rovers fan who sadly passed away last weekend in France watching the Robins against the Dragons, and our thoughts with his family and friends as the fans pay tribute here at Craven Park. Good friend of the Lewis family, Barney Eastwood, who passed away last weekend, and Mikey doing him proud tonight, that is for sure. Another set of 6. Oh, they've lost it. And that will be play on. Oh, they'll come back for the first knock-on. Errors sneaking in. You can understand it from a Hull Kingston Rovers point of view.
Right, I mean, the ball did look to me like that was stolen. Ball has squirted out of possession and does give again St Helens another momentary reprieve.
Panthers Eels kicks off tomorrow. Bumper day of NRL action. The Cowboys Storm follows it. We've also got Wigan Huddersfield in the Super League, 2:55 Sky Sports Plus. That's followed later on by League to Lose, 5:25 on Sky Sports Plus for that one. And then on Sunday we'll start at the MKM, Hull against Catalans, 2:55 Sky Sports Plus. Before the big party, Super League hits 30, and it's one of the original games. Leeds Warrington, 4:30, all the build-up, some big names, some of the old names of Sky Sports action, and we'll unleash the favourite ever Super League 13.
It promises to be some game as well, that, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Warrington in some form, and Leeds smarting a little bit at the moment.
Yeah. If Sam will get to pick himself in the all-time best Super League 13 as he did earlier. I mean, he says he's been stitched up. I'm not sure we believe him.
Well, for what it's worth, I had Chris Wadlinski. I mean, he did backtrack very quickly and said Chris Wadlinski, he was my idea of one of the best fullbacks that's knocked around over the last 30 years.
Here's a chance off the kick. Ball batted back. Regathered, I think, by the Robins.
Knock on by Hull KR.
Oh, but it is a knock on by Hull Kingston Rovers, so they will get a chance at the line. I guess it is worth mentioning. I mean, you did play on the wing yourself. Who would you go for on the wings?
Oh, well, I spent the first kind of 4 or 5 years of my career being variously terrified by the pace of Jason Robinson and the size of Leslie Vinacolo, so they'd be my idea of top wingers.
Well, they're going to challenge this one. They've still got their challenge.
OK are challenging the on-field decision of a knock-on.
OK are challenging the on-field ruling of a knock-on. Player's been cleared up to this point as onside. Tyrone May is going back towards the ball. There's no escort action. Robertson's going up to the ball. That touches Broadbent's hand. Goes forward into Tyrone May, which would be an accidental offside at this point. And Hull KR then regather. So the challenge by Hull KR will be unsuccessful. It's a knock-on against Broadbent, but there's no offside as it's accidental.
Thank you, mate.
Made my decision.
So the challenge is unsuccessful. And St Helens will get a chance to attack the Hull Kingston Rovers line. 12 remaining here. Broadbent couldn't gather in the high kick.
I was surprised that, I mean, it looks to me like it's going to be a knock-on, but I'm surprised that's not been given as accidental offside. So the ball's come off Broadbent and into Tyrone May, who's in front of him. And then, you know, I suppose a penalty at this point doesn't really matter too much to St Helens. It's going to be an opportunity in possession.
Well, what can they do here from the scrum, Saints? Here's Saylor. Hits it away to Clark. Clark will drive it forward. Leaning good try scoring forward of late Darryl Clark. Gets the 6 again. Not been too many of those tonight. Noah Stevens is tackled. Can't get the ball away. Well, now in the hands of Parsi going route 1. Ball now with Hastings. Hastings got time, but couldn't find the pass to unlock the defence. Cross. Gets it away. Wingfield will carry it. Good to see him getting some game time after a lot of injuries over the past couple of years. Here's Clark. Nobody to get away to, but finds well, that was knocked on by Broadbent again. The kick from Hastings. So a little bit unfortunate there, Broadbent.
I think he's done well. I think, look, he's knocked on, but I think he saved a try. I think if that goes through, there's 3 or 4 St Helens players on that left edge who could have potentially dotted down. So, yep, they have to defend another set at 6, but I think his intervention was timely.
Yeah, it was. Paul Rowley looks on. One of those nights. We'll hear from him at the end of play tonight.
Won't be afforded too many of those. As the Saints head coach, it's a big job that comes with big expectations.
Well, look, they don't win here by and large in recent years, but this is something else. Ball on the ground, and dropped again. And the referee's going to come back. I think he said there was a hand on it from a Hull KR defender, which took the pass away from Dagnall, so they'll get another bite of the cherry.
Yeah, it's just as it came out of. I think it was out of Saylor's hand. Yeah, it's Mikey Lewis who just makes connection with the outstretched arm. And that puts a deviation on the pass. Owen Dagnall couldn't pick up cleanly, but St Helens, they get another opportunity. Entering the last 10 minutes of the game, and what they give for a couple of scores here. And try and salvage some kind of confidence, something to build on for next week.
Yeah. Can they do here? Short pass, good defence. Flick pass finds Hastings, gets it away to Robertson. Robertson, a little kick step. He's just taken down.
Just harassed the entire way, harassed the entire play.
I think it's often easy to look at it and think, well, Saints haven't been very good, but you've got to also look at the fact Hulkinson Rovers have been fantastic, haven't they?
Yeah.
Every part of the game, and they have demolished St Helens.
Yeah, absolutely. Both sides of the ball. And this has been an imperious performance.
It has. Is there any... Oh, they're going to get a penalty again, offside Hulkinson Rovers here.
Offside of the goal line. No,
It's the most prolonged period of pressure and possession that St Helens have enjoyed in this entire game, and it's too little too late. And obsessed with this left-hand side as well, and that's why.
Yeah, and they're going to go in, and it is Shane Wright who will get a consolation. There's no big celebration. There's nothing to celebrate, but he is over. And it is a second score for Saints. Shane Wright's third of the season. It's 52 points to 8.
Yeah, it's Jackson Hastings who's heavily involved down this left-hand edge, and it's just a flat ball, catches Tyrone Mate. Just ball watching ever so slightly. Yeah, he just eyes for too long on Jackson Hastings. The ball's rifled into Shane Wright. He just steps through the attempted tackle and scores, as you correctly point out, a consolation try and nothing more.
Yeah, Hastings with a chance to slot over a goal. It's from the other side at the start of the second half. Can he add on 2 here? Yes, that's a confident strike. 52-10. Favour of the Robins.
Just to expand on your point you made earlier, notwithstanding the last kind of 30 seconds and a switch off from Tyrone May, I think this has been an excellent performance from the Robins from the get-go. The first 10 minutes was dictated by the error off the kick-off from St Helens, but a side has still got to make hay while the sun shines. They've still got to convert that into something. And very often you see sides labouring away and not really putting points on the board where they've enjoyed territory and possession. Not so this evening. We've seen a ruthless Robins.
Yeah, there was a freedom, wasn't there, about Hulkar in that first half. A little bit of play from Saints. They just couldn't get out of their own half in that first 40, and they were made to pay. Doubles in the first 40 for Burgess and Lewis, who've both gone on to complete hat-tricks at the start of the second half. Clark again, busy out of dummy half.
Get back. All balls. Sam, you're off.
Again, shape thrown. Here goes Cross, tries to wrestle off, and does wrestle off Noah Booth, who's into the action. Nice one, Hastings going to send it high. Broadbent this time will gather it. And he's picked up and pushed back to the 10.
Yeah, another nothing kick. It's not really drawing the Robins fullback into a dangerous position, not really giving his own charges an opportunity for a genuine challenge at the ball.
Okay, our job done for them. All eyes will be on Hull FC next weekend. All part of Rivals Round that will bring you on Sky. Have they got one late burst in them? The Robins, last one. Lewis will just poke down the sideline. Robertson lets it hit his legs and regathers, and now will feed it away, and a good tackle on Dagnall brings him to a halt from Brown.
Well, I've been remarkably consistent with that all evening. And this time it was Brown who chopped down Dagnall, and look again, moves sideways 20 metres, but no real progress downfield.
It was a contest, it was over pretty quickly, wasn't it? The Robins registering just a second win of the season in terms of the Super League campaign. Oh, that was forward. That was forward. Not quite the NFL season yet, fellas. That would have been a first down and 10.
Wingfield, yeah, he's tried to tip on to Ignatius' pass. Too flat from Ignatius' pass. He didn't give anywhere to go. Yeah, a night that the St Helens side would sooner forget We've got a couple hours back over the M62 this evening to ruminate on what has been a really substandard performance from their point of view. And I've been thinking about your comment earlier, you're saying, look, it's very easy to sit there and to denigrate the performance from St Helens. I think in equal measure, we've seen top-class stuff from the Robins and a falter in St Helens' side, which probably explains the gulf in class and the gulf in the scoreline here.
Yeah. Well, it's the first time in 9 years since a cup loss at Castleford that St Helens have conceded 50 points. Thanks to Ian Proctor for that one. Short pass.
Oh, he was looking for the offload, wasn't he? Yeah.
He was. He's gone all right, Brown, since he came on. Short pass here, Batchelor away, gets it back to Lim. Oh, good tackle, Robertson. Well
Needed
played.
to be. He may just have delayed the inevitable, the spread on the left-hand side here.
Yeah, Burgess is glued to the sideline. Lewis steps out. Can't quite find the pass, Lewis, to keep the move alive. Oh, he's a bit slow to his feet there. That would have been a concern momentarily. They're moving it wide on that left, but that's the turnover. A couple of minutes left for this one, and if Saints could get on the bus now, I think they would do.
Yeah. They said at night they'd rather forget. Not the ideal preparation either, is it, for what is going to be a fantastic game on Good Friday? Wow.
Yeah, York within 2. That's on Sky Sports Plus. Well, they lost by a point last week. They're within 2 of Wakefield now. Oh, ball's coughed up again. Well, Saints started with an error. Are they going to end with one here? Ball to Lewis again, teeing up that left-hand side. Whitbread. Ball's come free, and now it's a penalty.
You can't drop off. You can't drop off, too.
Yeah, both of these sides featuring the Good Friday derbies. First up,
Get onside, get onside.
Hull Cow and Hull FC. We're going to be back here, aren't we, on Good Friday? Very much looking forward to that, particularly with the performance put in here by the Robins. And then St Helens, well, they'll lick their wounds for a few hours, and then all focus will turn to the big one.
Yeah, here's Lytton, 6 again. So the Robins looking to end with more points. Oh, that was patted down. That'll be another penalty. Oh, Darryl Clark couldn't help himself.
That's just spoiling tactics, isn't it?
Well, they started with a try early in the piece, and now they're looking for more. Broadbent, that's a better read from Lewis Murphy. Here's May. They're still hungry, aren't they? They still want more points. Hadley working again, middle of the field, trying to fight and get the arm free. Gets a late offload. I think the referee had called held, so Hadley undone there as we go into the last 60 seconds. And now the ball short, flung out wide, bounces up kindly. There could be a breakaway here, but look at the white shirts getting back. Dagnall all alone, he's still going, credit to him, gets over the halfway, but look at the sheer determination of those Robins defenders to get back.
Yeah, and already, the entire defensive line back in position. They're giving away a 6 again, but look at all set, ready to go. That's been a real feature of their performance this evening, that willingness to back up mistakes when they have come with some outstanding defence.
They have. They're just going to pile it forward. This is going to be the last tackle of the match. Here now is Hastings, puts the kick out wide. Will they get the bounce? Yes, they did, but they didn't ground it, I don't think. Cross celebrates, but the referee wants to have a look at this one. Is it a late consolation?
I have no try.
No, I don't think it is. The grounding, the issue here just wouldn't sit right for Cross.
Yes, thank you, mate.
It's tackle 2, we've got no try on field. Comes from a kick. Check the onside, offside first. Kick chase to the left is all onside. Every player's onside. We'll run this through now. We'll go there's something close in on grounding. To be fair, Dion Cross has got possession of the ball. does he maintain possession of that ball? Have we got any other angles of this, or is camera 11 going to be our best? It's going to be our best. We'll go back on this and slow. Go back a bit, right, go on this. Tom Davis is affecting a tackle. He's descending to ground. Anything else? Sorry, nothing else on this. Right, go on, slow on this forward. See this angle if it gives anything else. We're really sight the ball on that. Yeah, based on the live call as well, there is insufficient evidence to overturn the live call, which is a knock-on. I'll be supporting that decision. I've made my decision.
Well, they started with a knock-on and they've ended with a knock-on. A pretty miserable night for St Helens, maybe summed up with the opening tackle and the final tackle of the game. Leon Cross got to the ball, but he couldn't get it down. It is a disappointing end for St Helens. Hull Kingston Rovers had to wait 174 days for a Super League game here at Sewell Group Craven Park, but they made the wait a worthwhile one. Mikey Lewis and Joe Burgess both peaking up hat-tricks on the night. For Lewis, a personal best 28 points in a Super League match, just too short of the Hull Kingston Rovers record set by Michael Dobson back in 2010. Tyrone May at the heart of everything as well. That Robbins left edge, just too hot for St Helens. The derby awaits next week, and it's the Robins who will go into it in red-hot form. They're back on the march. News that Willie Peters may be moving on at the end of the season. Well, the response has been a good one, and it's the Robins who hit the half-century and pick up a second win of the season. They've beaten St Helens by 52 points to 10.
Mark John, thank you very much. Well, so much to pull apart here, but first and foremost, I would echo what Mark has said. Doesn't it set us up brilliantly for rivals round? St Helens facing the so far unbeaten Wigan Warriors at a sold-out home ground, and Hull KR welcoming Hull FC here to Craven Park, having ignited their season.
Yeah, I think we saw, didn't we, the turnaround from Castleford Tigers after a big defeat. But St Helens might have a very similar job to do before Good Friday. Really picking apart what was a poor performance, an exceptional performance from Hull KR. Exactly what Hull KR needed, wasn't it? That teased Hull KR beautifully for Hull FC, but some soul searching for Saints.
It was just a suffocating performance from Hull KR. They didn't give this Saints side any opportunity. They had a slight sniff just after half-time. Other than that, they were completely dominant, and like you say, John, exactly what they needed.
In many ways, normal service resumed, both in terms of Hull Kingston Rovers reaching the levels we know they can, and St Helens maybe playing like a side short of arguably seven first frontliners.
Yeah, and also a trend we saw last year was Saints struggling against top sides. You know, that's another example of it here. The Warrington round one, okay, they got a win against Lee, but they've really struggled here. But the key for Hull KR here was back to the best, and you need your best players back to their best, and several of them were, including one of the stars in our competition.
Absolutely. Well, the Hull Kingston Rovers record for points in a game in Super League is held by Michael Dobson on 30, coming agonisingly close to that. Today is our player of the match, Jenna, Mikey Lewis.
And I don't even know if he's aware of the record. We will go there, you're right. 8 goals, 3 tries. Mikey Lewis, a total of 28 points tonight. Are you aware that you were 2 points short of a record?
No, I won't.
And you had some penalties at the end there too.
I know, you know, it's one of them things. I haven't really thought about it. I didn't think goal kicking would come back round to me after last year with Arthur injuries, but yeah, stood up for the team, and yeah, great performance by us.
You just said to me off camera, we finally clicked.
Yeah, I felt like that. We know we've been on a journey the first couple of months, a journey I wouldn't ever, you know, I'd do it again tomorrow with this group of lads, and today I had a real special feeling, you know, the build-up of it, and I knew, you know, it took that defensive performance in the first half was phenomenal, and that's us, and it was more like us, so yeah, pleased.
I want to ask you about Saints' right edge, because it certainly seemed like you targeted it tonight. Was there a weakness that you spotted there?
No, we had some joy there early on, and I feel like, you know, especially last week, we had that 20-minute period where we really attack that edge, and you know, if we put our mind to it, just sticking to it, the points was coming, and you know, I feel like we did that tonight.
So Hull KR are back?
It's a step in the right direction, Jenna. A long year ahead, and we keep building, keep working hard for each other, and you know, see where it takes us, because it's a long old journey.
But do you know where it takes you next week?
Yeah, the derby, big one. I think this is a fantastic game for it. The build-up, they're in good form. So yeah, it's going to be exciting, tasty, in front of this crowd again. Yeah, can't wait.
Yeah, no doubt. Good to be home. Mikey Lewis, congratulations. Betfred player of the match.
Thank you. Cheers, Jenna.
Thank you. Oh, we're going to bring in the head coach, Willie Peters. First question, he got a hat-trick, so did Joe Burgess. Which was your favourite?
I'm not going to say Mikey, I'll say Joe. Yeah, no, I'm happy with happy with tonight. Obviously, coming back home helps. Settled them a bit, and yeah, I'm really happy with the way they played.
We certainly saw glimpses of Hull KR from 2025, didn't we?
Yeah, we did, and mainly through our defence. I thought we started the game extremely well. You know, I think there was only 3 or 4 play the balls in our half in that first 40 minutes. So it's that's the way we like to play. There's no secret around that, and it was good to be able to score some points off the back of it.
Mikey just said to me he felt like tonight the team finally clicked. Did you see that?
Look, you need to do it again and again, don't you, to have a trend there. Look, we've been inconsistent throughout this season so far, but as I said, like around 10, 11, 12 is where you start to work it all out. So let's have a look and see where we are then. But, you know, I'd like to think it's a step in the right direction. As I said, pre-game, it's been a big start for us, but that's behind us now. There's no excuse there. We need to be consistent like we were tonight.
So then fair to say season 2026 has finally begun for the reigning champs.
I hope so. As I say, we'll see you next week. We've got a derby next week, so there'll be hopefully minimal motivation for that. The players will be up for that. So, you know, I want to see consistency now. That's the key. And as I spoke about pre-game, it's performance. You know, we put in a good performance, we got a result.
Yeah, we cannot wait for next week. The Hull derby, Willie Peters, massive win tonight.
Thanks, Jenna. Cheers. Thank you.
Well, for a side as good as he's assembled, this upcoming run of fixtures is favourable, to say the least, for Hull KR. FC coming up in Super League. York Knights in the Challenge Cup, then Toulouse, Bradford and Casford back into the Super League competition. So an opportunity, you would say, for much-needed Super League competition points. Well, delighted to say we're joined here pitchside by Hull Kingston Rovers captain Elliot Minchella. So much to talk to you about. Let's start with the noise around the camp in the last 24 hours as news emerged that maybe Willie would be finishing at the end of this season with Hull Kingston Rovers, but you still have got a game to prepare for. Talk us through that.
Yeah, it's been a nice quiet week. Yeah, a lot of outside noise, but look, we just spoke about it, addressed it as a group with players and staff, and you know what, we just come together and yeah, just blocked out the outside noise. We had a job to do here tonight, back at home. It's been a while since we played here, and yeah, I guess that performance was for him and for these guys who come out, you know, not seen us in a while, and yeah, we needed to put that performance in.
You guys have been through a lot at the start of the season. Opened up with a defeat against York, of course, magnificent in the World Club Challenge against Brisbane, and then you got to get on a plane, fly to Vegas, face a red-hot Leeds Rhino side, didn't go your way. Back in Super League, couple of victories in League and Cup, and then last week's disappointment to the Catalan Dragons. Where did you guys feel you were as a side together in Super League? Were you anywhere close to where you needed to be?
No, look, we've not been good enough. I think me individually, you know, I try and set the standards, and I've not been at the level I expect of myself. And then I think as a group, it's fair to say we've not reached the heights that we did last year. We've had a lot to deal with, but look, we knew that was coming. It's no excuse, and we've got to be better. And we was better here tonight, but we've still got loads to improve on. Look, I think we conceded too many. You know, play the ball losses and the 10 points against, I think they're pretty soft tries, so we need to be better in there. But yeah, step in the right direction.
Well, plenty to be happy about from a Hull Kingston Rovers perspective defensively, John, in the first half.
Yeah, I thought when we saw your defence in the first half, Elliot, it reminded me of last year, you know, an intensity of line speed, of contact. You know, we might see some examples of it. Just you getting back to what your identity is was so important here tonight. Forget about everything else. Defensively, that's what this team's been built on.
Yeah, 100%. It's what we spoke about pre-game. It's getting back to being Hull KR, and you're right. This is no technical stuff. It's just getting off the line as hard as you can and making it difficult for the attacking team, and that's what we built our game on last year, and we've probably gone away from it. So yeah, we spoke about that. There was no secret. That's what we needed to improve on, and I think we did tonight. In large patches, still areas again where Saints had some good good escape sets, but yeah, on the whole, definitely a step in the right direction. And look, it's uncomfortable when a team does that to you, coming out your own end, and that's what we want to be, a team that's hard to attack against.
You look like a side that knew exactly what was coming at them. You know, you've seen what Saints have done in recent weeks. They've moved the ball well. I'm pretty sure your answer will be yes to the question of, did you know what was coming from Saints tonight?
Yeah, look, they've been impressive. I think Paul Rowley's gone in there and really had some attacking flair, I think, to Saints. You can tell he's got that Salford spin on him. They move the ball, so they challenge you all over the field. You don't know whether they come straight through the middle or they're going to shift it to their edges. And they've got dangerous strike players at Hastings and Saley. You know, you've got to keep an eye on them. But yeah, we just had an attitude of getting off our line and attacking with our defence tonight, you know, put them under pressure and see what happens on the back of it, and yeah, we went pretty well.
Well, let's have a look at Saints' response at the start of the second half, John.
Yeah, well, look, I thought one issue Saints had is when you want to move the ball, you can be too lateral and too quick, can't you? Well, Saints actually got on the front foot through Murphy, and then, as you said, Elliot, then Darryl Clark's a running threat. Saints are infinitely more dangerous when they shift the ball, Sam, off the back of those direct carries.
Yeah, they need some momentum before they can move the ball, and we only saw this for 3 or 4 sets in the full game, because they do have danger, as we've spoken about. They've got some star players a little bit off the cuff, but on the back of some real strong carries.
Is this one of the soft tries you were speaking of? There's nine passes, they broke 10 tackles, Elliot.
Yeah, but look, on the flip side, we've got to hit and stick there. You know, at some point, someone's got to get out the line and stick, and not let it get from the left edge all the way to the right edge. You know, the ball's on the left side of the field, and they're scoring the right corner, which is good attack, but on the flip side, we need to be better in defence.
It was a glimmer of hope for Saints, wasn't it? And at that point, you think, well, maybe Saints comeback's on, but
they responded, Hull Kingston Rovers. Take us through the response and what really sealed the game for them in the second half.
Yeah, I just thought really clinical in how they attacked. I thought that's as smooth as your attacks looked all year. And what I love is just spotting a weakness. Obviously, the right edge from Saints is just a bit disjointed. Matt Whitley, a back rower there, he's just slightly upstream of defenders inside him. And that makes it difficult for the defenders inside and outside to get it right. This is the Burgess hat-trick.
Yeah, you know, Hull KR recognised, I'm pretty sure, straight away, they've got a back rower in the centre, let's go and attack it. They didn't help themselves defensively. Dagnall, we're going to see him highlighted that he should not be there. He should be where the end of that arrow is. He should be up on the end of the line. There's just too much space for Hull KR to attack into. It's really poor technically where they defended. They just didn't help themselves.
Yeah, how good to see Mikey back to his best, Elliot.
Yeah, great. Look, when he runs the ball, how good is he? When he just competes, this try here is just about competing, and if Mikey doesn't go hard at kick pressure in there, Batch doesn't score the try, but that's not pretty again. You know, that's just the choice of how hard are you going to go and put the kicker under pressure, and yeah, sometimes you just make your own look.
Yeah, the effort areas were there, but also the execution was there, Elliot. And I just thought whenever you needed it to be, there was people in support and people making line breaks. Burgess made a load of line breaks, but great support from Jai Whitbread.
Yeah, Jai's been great, you know, filling in on the back row. But I think Tyrone and Mikey really connected tonight. We needed a spine to step up, and I'm involved, Brody's involved, Jez. I think we all took the game by the scruff of the neck, and like you said, we spotted Whitley at the right centre trying to exploit him. But yeah, I think Tyrone and Mikey are awesome tonight.
Hat tricks for Joe Burgess and for Mikey Lewis, with Willie Peters not wanting to inflate Mikey Lewis's ego anymore. Said he prefers Joe Burgess' hat-trick. Why would that be?
Well, I think both of them are controversial. Not sure what Joe said earlier, but
no, we keep Joe away from the
He's not allowed in anymore.
For his family's sake. Yeah. So, okay, listen, Elliot, 2 months old. If I have my sums right, back in 1996 when Super League kicked off, we celebrate the 30th birthday, of course. You made your debut, try-scoring debut for Leeds against Salford in 2013. From your earliest memories as a youngster growing up watching Super League, what sticks out for you?
I remember my first game, I went to watch it, was down at Valley Parade, watching Bradford. I think it was 2002. My granddad took me down there, and yeah, instantly just fell in love with it. Fell in love with Bradford Bulls. You know, they were riding high at the moment. Great to see them back. But yeah, that's my earliest memory, going down Valley Parade, watching a game down there, and yeah, and that's where I fell in love with the game, really.
And when you get to appear for the first time in the competition that you grew up watching, you felt?
Nervous, proud. But yeah, what a great moment, like you said, many moons ago. 2013 seems a long time ago, debuting at 17, and yeah, learned a little bit since then. But yeah, great memories, and yeah, fond memories of that day especially.
Yeah, and Elliot's story is one of our great stories. You know, not a career path that went directly to the top. Adversity in there, had to bounce around a little bit, and so Elliot's one of the great modern stories of how to get to where he is now, captaining the side to a World Club challenge. Unreal.
And is now a World Club champion. And I wonder in 30 years' time will people be naming Elliot Minchella in their all-time Super League 13? Because we've asked you to do that, and it's not easy, is it?
Yeah, pretty tough actually. I got a message in the week and seeing those names, just just full of legends, you know. And yeah, pretty tough actually to pick a team when you see it on paper to leave so many greats out of the team. So
controversially, you've gone for Chris Verlinski at fullback. Sam Tompkins picked himself.
We love it, Elliot.
Sam picked himself earlier today.
No, I didn't.
I wish I knew we were on today.
Which one gave you the most difficulty? Which positions?
Probably the halves. Leon Price. I remember growing up watching Leon, and I was a Bradford fan. But then, think of the halves you leave out. Danny Maguire, pretty tough to leave him out.
It's a big shout, that, isn't it? But Leon, you think about Leon when he was at his best. He was unplayable, Leon Price, for 6, 7, 8 maybe.
I think Leon's criminally underrated for me. Like, he can play in the halves. He played in the outside backs, and wherever he played. I'm sure obviously you played with him. But for me, he was a hero of mine growing up from Bradford, where I'm from, and to see him doing so well, I took inspiration from him.
There's a big beaming grin on Leon Price's face at home. He sat on the couch, probably in a loose pair of joggers, smiling away at himself.
Shantaine, you weren't the first to pick Shantaine Happy as well, because, I mean, over the course of time, people do forget the contributions people made, but Shantaine was sensational for Bradford.
Yeah, I think, like I said, I grew up being a Bradford fan, and that combination they had on that left side of him and Vanacola, lethal. So, but I think the other wing is pretty good as well, Ryan Hall, to get him in there. I'll be happy with that.
Okay, so it's birthday celebrations, and it's a season to look forward to for Hull Kingston Rovers. You're World Club champions, you're defending title holders, and your coach. I mean, we await official announcement, but, that is going to be a story that will probably bubble up in the next week or so and then die down. You'll get on with your season. The determination amongst the playing group, Elliot, to back up what they did last week is how high?
It's high. We've been tested this week, to be honest. There's been a lot of honest conversations, a lot of outside noise, and I think the performance tonight probably shows what sort of group we've got, what culture we've got within the playing group, but also the staff. We respect the boss, we respect the other members of staff, and, business as usual. We're here to play games of rugby, not talk about who's going to be the coach and where the coach is going. That's none of our business.
I saw the hug with Willie Peters just before you came over for us. Beeline for each other. A lot of respect there.
Yeah, 100%. What he's done for this club's unbelievable. So, yeah, a lot of respect for the man. Yeah.
Elliot, thanks very much for joining you. We'll hear from Paul Rowley. We'll let Elliot go in, get changed and warm up after his victory here tonight at Sill Group Craven Park. Here's Paul Rowley from St Helens.
Thanks, Ryan. Paul Rowley, I guess we start with simply how do you explain that?
Yeah, like I said to you at half-time, defensively, whether it be structure or physicality, we was way off the pace, and probably took our second half from Toulouse last week into today, and Nokia completely dominated us in field position and territory as a result of the physicality, really. So, it's a simple start, the physicality, and we weren't good enough and we're beaten in that area.
Will there be a long review for your right edge this week?
There'll be a review for all the team, obviously. So there'll be a lot of, as always, soul searching. Maybe a game too far for some of the younger players today. We've got obviously some bodies missing, but still, it's disappointing and. Some hard lessons learned, hopefully learned. So, a humbling, call it what you will. So we're disappointed, but as always, it's part of the journey. We'll have to learn and learn quick because we've got another physical team on the horizon in Wigan.
Yeah, of course, the Wigan Warriors next week. Rivals round. You mentioned missing some players. Another player that didn't come out at half-time was Mike Percival. What's the prognosis there?
Yeah, he's just been carrying a bit of a injury to his leg, so it wasn't any point risking him at that point. Could have been made worse. So just protective, really.
Okay, so just on next week then, Wigan Warriors, they are at the minute unbeaten. It's going to be tough?
Well, of course it is. Like today was tough. Wigan will be just the same. They're like I said before, they're a physical side. They're doing everything very well, and they're loving the process like they always do. So we've got a real challenge on our hand, but we'll certainly have to be a lot better than we was today.
Paul Rowley, appreciate you coming out and speaking to us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, they will face the upcoming challenge of the Wigan Warriors, so far unbeaten at a sold-out home ground over in St Helens. Next week with us on Sky Sports, round 7 of the Betfred Super League. They'll switch to the Challenge Cup for the game against the Catalan Dragons. Then Hull FC, Wakefield, Trinity and York, the latter two, who have been in action tonight. And we will bring you tries from the LNER Community Stadium very shortly. A fairly honest and upfront interview from Paul Rowley. One word stood out consistently: physicality.
Yeah, they were dominated from minute one in that game. Something we've not seen Saints fall to this year. I think Saints this year we've spoke about how good they've been and how well they've played. This was the biggest challenge today, and they fell short. They fell short by a long, long way.
With the absentees, and we bring them up again. So would it be fair to say St Helens fans don't yet know what they're going to get from St Helens 2026 under new coach Paul Rowley?
Yeah, I think the last 3 weeks has been misleading. I think it's quite easy to move the ball around on teams that are not as strong defensively. Last year, St Helens, one of the things we spoke about all year was 13 consecutive defeats against the top sides.
4 against Hull Kingston Rovers.
Yeah, and there's another one here, and round 1 against Warrington, who looked strong this year. So I think that becomes, again, a conversation for this season. I like the way Paul Rowley's teams play, but you've got to be direct. You have to kick the front door in before you move the ball sideways, and I just don't think they had the mentality to do that. Plus, rugby league is a physical sport, and if you don't get your contact right and you don't get your energy levels right in defence, it's incredibly difficult, and you just can't compete with a side like Hull KR when they play like that if you don't do that basic stuff well.
Well, that's what Hull KR did. That's why Hull KR was so dominant. We spoke about the speed of the ruck and Hull KR not dealing with it. They hit Saints that hard. The first contact was that hard that they could dominate, and they could get 3 and 4 men in the tackle, which we've not seen so far. And I think we've learnt 2 things tonight. We've learnt that Saints, they came into it confident, probably a little bit too confident. I think they've not really been tested, and for Hull KR, this is the full stop to all the talk we've heard for the last 4 weeks. They've had one good performance against Brisbane. They've stuttered through, but that's it. Hull KR are back out.
I know why you're laughing. We learned the third thing. You couldn't even pick your nose. You had St Helens by 6.
I did. I bought into the confidence.
Yes,
I bought into the last 3 weeks. I'm like Paul Rowley. I didn't see that coming either.
I just knew when a little respect comes bouncing off the terraces, something different happens here, doesn't
it?
To
be fair, you picked them by 6 points.
I said 16. It was a typo.
You weren't much closer than me.
It's like your team sheet, you in the team. It was a typo.
Right, guys, let's get over to York. Wakefield Trinity in town. Wakefield hunting a 3rd consecutive Super League win on the bounce. York looking for their 3rd win. What has been an impressive first ever season in Super League. They scored first through Sam Wood before Wakefield hit back, John.
Yeah, Wakefield hit back under the sticks here from Hamlin Noeli. It's a really tightly contested game on 31 minutes. That made it 6-all. Obviously, Jowett converts from under the sticks, but then it became York, Ben Jones-Bishop on 34 minutes scoring in the corner. And I love how enterprising York are, how entertaining they are with the ball.
Importantly, Wakefield went in front at half-time, courtesy of an Ollie Pratt try.
The timing of this, they've been behind in the first half. It completely changes the half-time team talk when you can go in with a try last minute to go in leading at half-time in a game where they weren't playing great.
Yeah, it took till 57 minutes, didn't it, into the second half. The Johnson try in the corner, short side play from Truman, lovely ball. Johnson finishing the corner.
OK, so here come Wakefield Trinity. They're going to cruise to this. Not a bit of it, says Nico Williams.
York are a side that move the ball, they test you, they play, they've got their own style, and they will. If they can get any sort of momentum, they're going to get tries on the board, and they've done it right.
Importantly, Max Jowett in the bin there for a reckless challenge in the corner. So that's important, an important moment in the game. But Wakefield just too strong, and it looked really dangerous, actually. Tavanga, again, just dominant, and his combination with Truman really excites me.
It's that midfield shape. Yeah. Wakefield, how good do Wakefield look midfield, moving the ball?
How good does he look in full flow?
Tom Johnson back from injury, back to his best.
22-14. Ollie Pratt bagged a brace with this late try to secure what in the end on the scoreline was a relatively comfortable win for Wakefield.
Yeah, I think the scoreline probably doesn't do them justice, really. I think York have had a real dig there and come out losing, but could very easily have won that had things gone slightly different at times.
Yeah, they just ran out of gas, Sam. Yeah. Just ran out of gas by the end. Great result there for Wakefield. Solid performance.
Yep, and I think probably a lot for York to take out of that game, pushing Wakefield so close. So round 6, well and truly up and running, got underway last night with Castleford's bounce-back win against Bradford, 40 points to 28. We've seen Hull KR, the reigning champions, dismantle St Helens here, the east side of the city of Hull. And of course, just brought you the tries from Wakefield Trinity's win over York Knights. 2 tomorrow, Wigan and Lee at home against Huddersfield and Toulouse, respectively. And then on Sunday, we'll build up to that big broadcast at Headingley. Before that, though, Hull FC taking on the Catalan Dragons. Before we have an hour of reflection on 30 wonderful years of Super League, and then we bring you the Rhinos and the Warrington Wolves. Well, here is the table. Of course, Wigan and Warrington unbeaten so far. It's Wakefield who are the big beneficiaries. They jump over St Helens and into 3rd spot. Well, that's it's shaping up, just shaping up nicely. All right, so stories abound. Stories abound. Look, Sunday is going to be a very special broadcast. It's 30 years of Super League. We got an hour build up and a lot of familiar faces to bring back into the broadcast here on Sky Sports.
Yeah, it's going to be a party, a celebration, as it should be, topped off with what I think is going to be an amazing game between two sides that will be desperate to win on such a big day for our sport.
Yeah, and I think, when I was thinking back about the 30 years, and we were speaking about this just earlier, is there's some people sort of leave the mark on you, don't they? And there's a number of people, and we've lost many people within the game. But it just made me think of Mike Gregory, because Mike Gregory is my academy coach. He's the first guy who really coached rugby league to me. He was a Great Britain academy coach, obviously fantastic guy, and to lose people, we celebrate all the great things that the game does, but we've lost many people along the way, and it just made me think of Mike Gregory's impact on me as a young guy. And in the 30 years of Super League history, that's a special thing for me to just acknowledge and reflect on these people who really matter to you, as you're coming through as a young athlete, and he's one that...
Lucky enough to be coached by him in 2003, took us all the way to a grand final, beaten by that great Bradford side. Well, let's just pick up on that team then. Who do you reflect back on your time in Super League? Who had probably the most influence on you when you were a player?
Probably Sean Wayne. I think I came through a Wigan system where... 15, 16 years old, I entered the academy system at Wigan, and I was just a young kid that wanted to play rugby, didn't know really what it was about, and Sean Wayne taught me about hard work and what you need to do, and my playing career and Sean's coaching careers sort of went side by side for a long time, and Sean had an impact on a lot of young players at that time coming through the system and taught us how to be professionals.
What about you, Brian? Stumped.
Bomber McRae. Sean McRae and his wonderful black suit. He had a big influence on me, watching Sky Sports and watching Super League on that, and then, of course, I was coached by him. Do you know what? I want to mention my first roommate when I came over here, Willie Peters, Hull Kingston Rovers coach. Well, he's my landlord, actually. Both of us played together at Gateshead Thunder. And it was a brand new franchise in Super League. Everybody parachuted in from Australia. I came over from Ireland. It was just a magical experience to come into Super League. And he set me up for my first try in Super League against Hull FC.
Does he remind you of that?
No, I remind him of that. I'm very grateful to it. And then, of course, we lived together for a while. So, and then to see him, I'm doing this, and he's coming back here and coaching Hull Kingston Rovers. So it has been a special journey over 30 years. The future of Super League as well looks bright. Of course, the news coming out today that Roger Tuivasa-Sheck has signed for Wakefield Trinity for a couple of seasons. So, I mean, we have that club that weren't there in 1996, have been transformed since the Ellis family took over it, and now are splashing big to bring superstars into the competition.
Yeah, we had Matt Ellis on the podcast, and do you know what I love when you're interviewing somebody when they've just got so much blind ambition that they don't see obstacles, they see opportunities, and Matt Ellis is one of those people, and he's come in and thrown his wealth, his family's wealth behind a club and materially made it better and more ambitious. Like, we should celebrate these people who come in and make our game infinitely better.
What I loved in the podcast, you're saying, where do you want to be in 5 years? There was no hesitation. We want to be grand final winners. That's where he wants to take the club. And the signing of Roger Tuivasa-Sheck is absolutely huge. For anybody that doesn't know who he is, get on the internet tonight and look at his highlights. This is a guy that's going to put bums on seats in stadiums.
It's 9 hours long.
top quality, but that's what we want. When we're signing somebody and paying big money to get someone into our competition, Roger Tuivasa-Sheck is exactly the kind of player we need in this comp.
Would you pick Tuivasa-Sheck over you, Sam?
Absolutely.
At the fullback?
I'd pick him over anyone in 13 that I picked.
Don't believe it.
Okay. Lots more sport coming up for you on Sky Sports, and we'll give you a reminder of that celebration on Sunday. We've got the Japanese Grand Prix on Sky Sports Formula 1. It's qualifying 5 a.m. tomorrow, and it's race day on Sunday, 4:30 a.m., 10:55 a.m. for the replay. Full replay if you can't get up that early in the morning. All of that on Sky Sports Formula 1. Start of the IPL, of course, on Sky Sports Cricket, as the Royal Challengers taking on the Sunrisers, and then the Mumbai Indians taking on the Kolkata Knight Riders. We've got tennis for you from Miami, where I hasten to guess it's a degree warmer than it is here in the east side of the city of Hull. It's the ATP 1000 Miami Open, the doubles final tomorrow, 4:30 p.m. Sky Sports Tennis. And we've got a whole host of games coming up for you tomorrow and on a Sunday, all culminating in the final, 7:30 p.m. on Sky Sports Tennis. All right, 2 more games from round 6 of the Betfred Super League. Wigan, Huddersfield and Lee Toulouse tomorrow. And then our double-header on Sunday. We'll start with Hull FC against the Catalan Dragons at 5-3 on Sky Sports Plus. We'll switch to Sky Sports Action, where you can watch the Leeds Rhinos and Warrington Wolves. We'll be on air from 4:30 p.m. with a lot of special guests. Nostalgia by the bucket load as we reflect on 30 years of Super League, and indeed look forward to that clash between the Rhinos and the Warrington Wolves. My thanks to John Wilkin and to Sam Tompkins. We'll say goodbye from Sewell Group Craven Park, where tonight in round 6 Hull Kingston Rovers, the reigning champions, finally got their season up and running. Till next time, bye bye.